welcome to the 5th edition of the PGT PLO Series. We have a stacked series of 4-card action for you yet again, and it's all coming at you from the PokerGO studio at Aria Resort and Casino on the Las Vegas Strip. Let's go inside right now and meet the players. My name is Remko Rinkema. Donnie Peters alongside me here for more than a week of PLO final table action. Over the course of this series, we'll see many of superstars make it to the final table. Daniel Negreanu came very close late last night, but ultimately, we're going to have to do with these boys. And of course, Jeremy Ausmus is here again, the PGT PLO Player of the Year, or the PGT Player of the Year. We'll see about his PLO chops, but he's here again. Bryce Yockey is our chip leader, and they're playing for the first place prize of $180,000. The final 6 are guaranteed $41,000, so there is a lot of money up for grabs if you make your way up the ranks. Let's have a look at these stack sizes and see who the big favorite is. But first and foremost, let me mention the fact that there was 164 entries in this event. 25 places ended up getting paid. Steve Zolotow was our final table bubble. Negreanu also finished in the money, along with some PLO regulars, such as Ronald Kaiser, Sean Winter, Arthur Morris, Sam Sternfield from the Mixed Game Series is back in the house as well. Richard Greco and Matthew Wampman also among those just falling short. By the way, I should mention Adam Hendricks as well. I know he doesn't like it when I forget about him. All right, Donnie, here we are. The 5th PGT PLO Series. You and I back on the call. It should be an exciting one, and we're starting off with a really, really nice final table.
Yeah, we are. You know, Bryce Yockey's back. Jeremy Ausmus is headlining. Did you see some of the hands from this guy, Jeremy Ausmus, yesterday?
I mean,
he gets it in with the worst 2-pair versus Arthur Morris's better 2-pair. He spikes a 2-outer on the river. That was kind of earlier in the day. Then he makes a royal flush against top boat. Then he makes backdoor quads later on to survive. I mean, unbelievable.
That's how you become Player of the Year, Donnie.
I know. It's absolutely wild. But it's good to be back, sir.
Well, I mean, if he doesn't, someone else can.
It really is good to be back. We have James Chen back in the house, also a regular here in the series. Nguyen, the suited Superman. We had him on a cash game just this past weekend. You could find the on-demand version of that on our YouTube channel and on PokerGO.com. And then Matthew McEwan also sort of becoming a regular at this point.
Yeah, he's been playing a lot more during the 2025 PGT season, which is great to see. You know, we always welcome new blood here on the tour. You know, he took some shots last year, or last season, I should say. You know, but things that really didn't amount to all that much overall. But you know, some early starts, good starts for McEwan, which are great to see.
I remember that. It's like everyone's just talking about.
He's got 6 cashes already this season.
It's funny.
It's funny how they never remember how you ran bad, right?
No one remembers.
Is Matt the first person who's mentioned it in like 6 months?
Yeah, I mean, even last year before the series, I was on a massive downswing.
Yeah, I remember.
Or pretty big. Maybe not as big as that.
Better brace yourself, kid.
I know, seriously.
Don't spend it all.
I don't anymore.
John, do you have orange?
Oh, sorry. I
By
started
Amazon stock.
It's not a bad move.
Google, Uber.
Keep putting it at 1%. It's not going to work forever.
I know.
It's kind of funny. Jeremy Ausmus talking about downswings. If he's experiencing downswings, who's winning in this game?
Good for your image.
Good question. Good question. I mean, he obviously won that Triton event for like 1.8 million recently. You know, but I think it's always funny because, I mean, that Triton series is a good example, right? He wins 1.8 million. I mean, what do you have in buy-ins? 1.5 million?
Right.
You know, it's like, these guys play so big.
It's pretty crazy.
I mean,
it's crazy.
No immediate outs. And you
Superman with aces, coming in for the 3-bet as the Aviator Nation team pro, no free ads. John Riordan is back in the hunt as well.
Like 30 to 1.
That's what it implied in our game.
Maybe I didn't mean to put it in, but.
Yeah, it might be one of those that might be worth saving a big blind spot. Ace-high board 3 ways.
Yeah, I just was like, are they really going to let me keep
All you need is some backdoor hearts.
They don't seem like it.
Huh?
Some backdoor hearts.
And backdoor straight, too.
Backdoor straight. And backdoor quads.
Yeah.
You can't forget the backdoor quads.
Well, I mean, I only forgot the backdoor kings. I was thinking about the backdoor jacks.
Yeah, none of us were really thinking about the backdoor kings, I don't think.
Yeah, that's like twice. That's like twice as likely as like the hand I lost to REA.
Bryce Yockey finds double-suited queens. By the way, shout out to Matthew McEwan for wearing the PGT hoodie here on stream. Gotta love it. By the way, you can find more of that kind of stuff at shop.pokergo.com. Not only PGT-related items, also high-stakes poker, no gamble, no future branded stuff. I can't say it enough. I love the no gamble, no future crew neck. By the way, back-to-back aces here for Nguyen. And again, the pot size re-raise, this time from the small blind. $1.15 million the raise. Bryce Yockey, the chip leader at this final table. But as you can see, most players a double up away from taking the lead.
Cash game, I bust you.
Feels just like a little bit of posturing there from Yockey.
You're really upset they're not letting you use your phone, huh?
Yeah, he's like, I don't have to show. I don't have to show it.
No, he doesn't have to video this one because I folded. But if I called, we would have seen it.
Shout out to Suited Superman, one of the most active sort of poker influencer slash vloggers.
Yeah, I mean, on Instagram at least, Suited Superman, he's always posting, whether that's tournaments, cash games, you know, travel, some food and wine here and there, but he certainly keeps it going on the gram, and it's fun to get insight into not only the poker, but the lives of these players.
Doesn't he claim to still work a day job?
Yeah, I mean, he said that on that cash game stream the other day, like that he's still an IT engineer. I mean, I don't know what time he finds to be an IT engineer, because it's like he's playing poker or doing something poker related or sleeping 24/7 on his Instagram channel. So who knows?
I think the
It's
overall
likely to
number's
get.
gonna be okay.
The over/under on him might be like 6 today.
About either three.
Are we talking
More
wine
than
glasses
one entry.
for Negreanu?
Yeah.
Over under 6?
No, I think he's talking entries in the bounty.
Daniel yesterday didn't know.
And this is the third straight hand that Nguyen picks up aces.
Wow.
Someone run the numbers for me. What are the odds you get aces back to back to back in PLO?
Superman's playing Big O or something right now, dude.
You're getting aces 3 times in a row. Kind of crazy.
Nice hand.
You only showed him twice, man.
Did you show him twice?
I think I like the string.
Now, Donnie,
Your stream player.
Extreme aces.
When you raise the first hand, and then you 3-bet 3 in a row, right?
2 in a row.
Yeah.
No, three in a row.
First hand.
You raised
was
John.
John, then you twice.
John under the
He
gun,
3-bet.
and then you, then.
I was obviously stealing from him again.
Nguyen already up 1.8 million, and we haven't seen a
aces
flop
in
yet.
You've won-
His
you've
VPIP
won
and pre-flop range percentage are a 100%.
I hope he gets aces
Send it all in
again.
one place.
Only mattered
So
the last
crazy.
hand.
True.
Now,
When's
Donnie,
it gonna be
this
your
is one
turn,
thing that
Donnie? Jeez.
me, as a
Should
kind
have
of an
called and
idiot,
trapped me there.
will think right away.
I had a bad hand against aces.
Bad hand against aces.
Yeah.
The fact that he gets away with this aggression 4
that
hands
bad,
in a
I
row,
guess.
doesn't that lean you towards being more aggressive in general because players are so apprehensive about playing back?
Take one off.
You're talking about if you're Nguyen specifically? Like-
Yeah, just keep going.
Yeah, I mean, at some point, though, like, when's the jig up? You know, when are they going to be like, okay, like, well, what's this guy really doing?
Right.
You know? Now, listen, I will say in Nguyen's defense, he did show aces, I believe, 2 out of those 3 hands. So, you know, I don't think he's getting out of line that much. Now, if he were to do it 5, 6, 7 hands in a row, then yeah, you know, somebody's going to need to put up some resistance, and that somebody would probably be Bryce Yockey, most notably. So, you know, I think that's always something in a poker player's mind as well. Like, yeah, you want to just do what the right play is. Like, for example, if it folds 2 on the button, okay, I should just raise X percentage of hands, right? But also, like, okay, how often is this guy going to play back at me? Have I raised, you know, 8 buttons in a row? Is it like that sort of stuff definitely starts to creep in your mind. So players will make the necessary adjustments as they go.
Well, Nguyen loses his first hand
By folding pre.
by folding pre. Shout out to everyone in the chat with us right
Daniel
now.
really could
I
get
see
in.
you on YouTube, and also we are live on PokerGo as
He's in a
well.
side bet.
Let us know in the chat where you're watching from. Don't forget to
It's
smash
only
that
the
like
second
button
tournament,
if you're
though,
catching us
so-
on
I mean,
True,
it's
the-
not like he's going to slow down for that reason, I guess.
He
YouTube stream,
likes
and
it, and he's rich.
Flamingo Montoya
That's
It's a
so
good way,
is,
it's a good
uh,
way to
what
have
do you
fun.
have the line
It's a
at?
good way to
What
have
do you have the
fun.
line at?
This is
The
just
line
giving us some
for him
stats.
Today?
13 bullets.
No, not the line.
I've seen him-
13?
I'm saying
I've
that's
seen him in for 20 plus before, so
20?
15
yeah.
last year.
Well, the final one, remember? It was like literally,
It was like the last PKO or whatever. He's in for like 20 bullets.
it was a regular bounty.
Yeah, he could really go off, yeah.
I mean, I think it's in the double digits for him. Because
I
the
would
way
guess
he-
the line's like, I was thinking 7, 6.
Oh, I'll take over.
But maybe, wow.
I'll take over.
It was like potty.
Don't you just run it up enough, though, you know?
Yeah, but the thing is,
then he
getting up
won't
just
stop.
for react starting
Yeah,
won't
yeah.
stop him. Like,
Yeah.
he'll keep going.
As I was trying to say, Flamingo Montoya
He
has
needs
run
like a
some
top 10%
math.
outcome, I think. For
This
like
is not
him to, like, stop
verified, but
going
he
for it.
said
It's
Good
better.
enough.
aces 3 times in a row,
Which, to be
one
fair, if you can
in
afford it,
It might be the
60,000
play.
Yeah. and
roughly.
with the
I
side
feel like that's
bet.
low.
That is a fun way.
I don't
Should
think
be
it's
higher.
with the side bet
But
and a
I mean,
5K.
there you go. Thank you
Yeah,
for
and
running
the
the numbers.
5K, you're right.
5K, where half the bounty prize is missing.
Fold,
Like,
fold.
Oh, yeah, bounty, too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Bounties don't get added to the PGT points.
I don't believe so.
Oh, yeah, this one, I forgot we were playing bounty today.
This is like the smallest tournament in the whole thing.
Oh, yeah.
It's a PKO, no? Or a bounty?
It's a PKO, but regardless, the bounties don't count towards the leaderboard.
But I would up my line because it's this bounty PKO. I didn't
Right, that's
realize
why I
that.
thought it was
Yeah,
double
yeah,
digits
yeah.
for him.
I thought it was a normal.
Oh, a normal tournament 6 is probably too high.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe, who knows with him.
Players talking about Daniel
Sherman's
Negreanu, who is playing in
All
event
of
number
them.
2,
Except
which is
the
a
25.
5K
The 25 's
progressive
not.
They should
bounty.
put the
25's
25K
free.
unlimited too. Why the fuck not? Like,
Got
if
one of
someone wants to
3
play that
bounties
6
on the
times,
schedule,
I'm not-
and
like, go for it.
our
buddy.
first
Yeah.
ever mystery bounty is coming up
25K
later.
is a
15K
Three
buy-in
max.
for that one.
3 max. No.
Which, to be fair,
3
is
bullets
like,
max.
3
Yeah,
is
it's-
a lot for that tournament.
So yeah, Negreanu, Donnie, speaking of yesterday and how he fell short, he ran up an enormous stack in the early goings.
Yeah, I mean he was on fire. You know, I saw at one point he busted carry cats. I think he backed into a flush when they got to roll in pre, or maybe on the flop. Can't remember exactly, but yeah. And at one point, I think there was 5, maybe 6 tables remaining, but that table that he was at had like 15% of the chips in play. It was unbelievable, the amount of chips that were in play at that table. But Daniel was drinking. He was having fun. I've said it before. I've said it on these streams. I'll say it again. Daniel is supremely underrated when it comes to PLO. Like, I think people think PLO and they just think, like, you know, the big guns, like the big PLO guys.
The
largely,
Finns.
Yeah, the Finns. Like, a lot of the guys that played, like, huge PLO cash games, stuff like that. Like, you think of, like, a Jared Blesnick, etc. Like, I mean, Daniel is really effing good when it comes to PLO. I think he really does understand it. I certainly think that his whole kind of mantra of small ball poker helps him a lot in PLO. People just come into PLO and they're like, gamble, gamble, gamble. Yeah, he might be gambling out there in the bounty tournament, but a lot of the times, you know, he takes a pretty controlled, pretty calculated approach,
Yeah.
and it serves him very well and has over the years.
Pretty big day.
Where's Ren, by the way?
When?
No, Ren.
He's in China.
Ren.
Oh, yes, he's not coming.
Said he'll be back for WSOP.
Daniel has 11
Where's
cashes
Keith, man?
on the PGT
Yeah,
PLO
Keith.
Series alone.
And Texas
2
Mike,
wins.
too.
That's-
I was really hoping they were going to be here in side betting so we could, like, you know, have fun. So we could play with 3 of the
He'll be
guys.
here eventually. Renlin. Speaking
they're
of
having a
somebody
lot
who
of fun,
fires
yeah.
many bullets.
I mean, all we need is Renlin,
Welcome
Keith,
to my company.
Keith
Sure.
Lear, and Daniel Negreanu.
I'm in.
That's all we really need. Shout out to Christy, one of our moderators on PokerGo. Thank you so much for joining us yet again. Jason Sambricki in the house as well. I see Martin Klinecki, always first in the YouTube chat. Thank you. Cool Drummer is here. Nancy, JB, Tom Mitchell, JM Levine, loving the fact that we have PLO back and still referencing the sickening hand that Yockey lost to Josh Aryeh. That hand will live on in infamy. As Yockey here, by the way, sticking with the trend of pre-flop aggression. He is he's not one to, you know, get caught up in the moment. He'll let it go when, you know, counter aggression calls for perhaps a fold. But I do like the fact that he's opening it up early.
Yeah, you know, he's the chip leader, and he's going to really lean into that as much as possible. You know, we've seen him get pretty active here early on, especially when he has cards in his hand that might have some blocker effects to him. Earlier, I think it was the king, queen, jack he had in his hand. Here he's got the ace, queen. You know, stuff that can block premiums from your opponents, and you could, of course, you know, leverage that big stack of yours and put a lot of pressure on the other players.
Yockey here up against James Chen, winner of a WSB bracelet in 2024, where he took down the 1500 limit Omaha 8, which in my mind is one of the biggest minefields in all of poker.
Yeah.
Probably the, I'm just going to go out on a limb, the largest non-Hold'em 1500.
Yeah.
1500 PLO might be bigger, but
Oh, yeah.
the largest limit
For
event,
sure.
probably.
I mean, that tournament's insanely big every year. Like, you know, give or take 1,000 runners. Interesting to see that Yockey went with a check back here, despite flopping the nut flush along with the gutter to Broadway. So trying to protect his check back range a little bit, have some better draws in there. And then look at that, it just comes home.
Comes home for Yockey on the river, and now in position. He's going to get a chance to go for value here. No real reason for Chen to put himself into a difficult situation by betting.
Yeah, I thought maybe if he did bet Chen, it'd be of the blocker sizing, you know, just trying to get to a cheap showdown here with 2 pair, but just going to come with the check. I would imagine Yockey's going to come with a pretty healthy bet here, trying to get max value with his hand.
10 seconds.
If we're targeting straights here, are we supposed to bet smaller? Do we otherwise target smaller flushes, but would they lead? Those are sort of thoughts that I have in this situation. He does go for 1.2 into 1.8.
Yeah, I think it's appropriate to try and target 2 pairs, some straights, yes. One problem with targeting straights is you block kind of a little bit of that with that queen in your hand, but still, you know, there's the 10-8s out there. There's also the queen 10s that are out there as well. And then the lower flushes, I think, would probably come with check call, especially if Chen has experience playing with Yockey and he is aware at times maybe Yockey is a player who will throw those checkbacks in with the nut flush draw. Oftentimes you'll be like, no, this player's just always going to bet his draws, so I can, you know, act appropriately on future streets. But I think Yockey is obviously well-balanced, well-seasoned, where he's going to do things, you know, a mix at times, so you can't just come firing out with any flush there on the river.
James Chen, winner of a event at the most recent PGT PLO Series back in October, beating Nacho Barbero heads up at a final table that included 3 Finns. Sipola, Parson, and Yokomainen all were present in that event. So
it's just
the
boys, the roommates, basically.
Murderer's Row. So yeah, James Chen, no stranger to success here inside the studio. And for, you know, full disclosure, going back to that that Omaha 8 or better event I mentioned, just shy of 1,000 players last year when he won his first WSOP bracelet in that event.
Ausmus finally getting involved here, and it looks like immediately Yockey is interested. Yeah, look at this. He's just going to go for it.
I mean, Yockey's so far interested in almost every hand. 60% VPIP, raised every hand he's entered so far. Actually now quickly folding back around to Ausmus, so it seems. Back on Ausmus here with Queen, Queen, Jack 9.
10 seconds.
Decides to let it go. Perhaps a bit more of a cash game hand where you never fold into a 3-bet in that situation.
Never fold into a 3-bet in a cash game. At least I'm not. There's, you know, no shot. It could be 4-bet. I'm in there with the Queen, Queen, Jack 9 with the suit. Gamble it up. But tournament, you know, of course, you have the ICM implications. Ausmus is bunched in kind of the middle there, you know, but still McEwan is short. Not like danger zone short, but you don't want to go out before him.
Bryce Yockey up 1.7 million since the start. Nguyen up 1.5 million. So these two doing it without showdown. And kings here for Yockey. He's just going to continue on raising.
And we've seen enough final tables from Yockey here in the studio now that when he is the chip leader, you know, we can always expect aggression like this. He's going to lean to take a more powerful line than sit back and just kind of wait.
10 seconds.
Of course, it helps, you know, when you get hands like a couple of kings, you know, you get some hands that have good blockers, all that sort of stuff. Chen is going to elect to just fight back, says, listen, man, you've been stepping out quite a bit. Like, we need to, you know, we need to slow you down.
Now, how do kings play in scenarios like this? Probably one of the trickier hands to play in a tournament format PLO.
Yeah, I mean, I could see him taking all 3 lines.
Time extension.
Would probably prefer, of course, that 8 to be a little bit more connected, but it does help that it's suited. I've always viewed Chen specifically as someone who doesn't necessarily get too out of line, which I'm guessing Yockey probably thinks the same. So
10
it's
seconds.
a tough spot because, yeah, he could just have the 2 aces, you know.
Yeah, 3-betting in PLO, especially tournaments, not something to be taken lightly, especially given the stack size of Chen, 27 bigs. Unlikely for him to be extremely out of line. So probably a case of I'm either really far behind or I'm very close as far as equities run.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I don't think you're ever, like, crushing your
Right,
opponent.
exactly. He's
you
not
know?
he's not gonna show up there with queens.
Yeah, and even if it is queens, you know, it's, I don't know, queen, queen, jack 10, king, queen, queen, jack, like, you know, it's something like that. So, but even then, you know, I think we've seen James Chen at a couple final tables, and he's
0.55.
not gotten too crazy. Like, he's kind of just had hands or had the hands that have the right properties.
Question in the chat, Donnie. I wasn't there, so I can't comment on this specifically, but Hoosier says, why was Yockey sitting at the table with a laptop in his hand?
I have no idea. I mean, I saw it, but I don't know. It could be sports betting. It could be crypto. It could be
Online
the
poker.
markets. It could be online poker. It could be who knows? He's running a business. I have no idea.
Well, let's be clear. Solvers definitely not allowed. That would immediately result in a confrontation inside the room, so no one is going to...
Yeah, I mean, no one's running sims on their computer while they're playing. I mean, these guys are also like... One of the benefits, though, of the PGT is specifically inside the studio is, I mean, the players pretty much police themselves.
Right.
You know, it's... Yeah, like, we have some staff here. Obviously, the great Aria staff is on hand at all times, but for the most part, you know, the players, you know, not that anything does ever get out of line, but if they did, you know, these players, I think, would certainly speak up or say something or whatever.
Absolutely. And for those who've been around high-stakes tournaments, the Mr. Laptop, Donnie, you know who I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mr. Laptop, whenever he plays, in between hands, he'll run over to his computer, check the markets, check the prices of whatever precious metals he's involved in. Of course,
You're talking about Dan Snack, right?
Dan Snack, yeah. Mr. Tic Tac.
Checking the price of the Tic Tacs?
Yeah. So yeah, no facetious things happening inside the PokerGO studio. Meanwhile, we've arrived on the turn here. Riordan limped in, Ausmus completed, and Yockey checked. We got a round of checks bringing us to the turn where Ausmus now sitting with top set. Also had a straight draw to go along with it. Yockey open-ended. Flush draw, pair of tens.
He's in there, and I would imagine Riordan's going to come along as well.
Yeah, both players stealing some of each other's outs here versus Ausmus, who'll be happy to be up against 2 flush draws.
Riordan does call, so all of a sudden this pot's up to $1 million, and the 3 of hearts comes home. So Ausmus with those jacks still best, but there is a straight draw now present.
Ausmus does going to come with a check here. Yockey checks back. Riordan does so as well. And this is a nice pickup here for Jeremy Ausmus at Showdown. Jeremy Ausmus up to 3.2 million. John Riordan with that hand pushed down to below 2 million. Go back to the chat here for a second once again. Let us know where you're tuned in from. We have Tom Mitchell in the house from Fresno. JB's in the house from Birmingham. Nancy from Dallas. Thank you for hanging out with us. Tony says PLO is not poker. I mean, there's a tournament called Dealer's Choice, which has 19 games. I think PLO, one of the more normal poker games, featured in that mix.
Yeah, this is tame.
If you want to rank poker games by how much they are poker or how much they are not poker, this is very much poker.
Yeah, just tune into Cash Flow when they start calling Missionary or whatever the fuck else they're playing, you know?
What was the other thing they had the other day? For those, by the way, who missed it, Cash Flow, available on PokerGo.com. If you type in the search Cash Flow, you have to check that out. Quite outrageous few nights of cash action that we called.
350.
Jillian, by the way, thank you for watching from Santa Rosa, tuned in on PokerGo. I appreciate it. Questions coming in about Matthew McEwan, asking, isn't he more of a Hold'em player? I think we've seen Matthew sort of across the board, but most notably during our PLO series.
Yeah, and you know, it's most natural for anyone who plays Hold'em predominantly to transition to PLO. I mean, that's kind of the easiest move, you know, kind of, or very similar game format, albeit 4 cards. And then you can adapt your strategy from there. So, you know, McEwan's one of those guys who plays both.
Yeah, I'll have to go back here and, of course, you know, check the receipts. But yeah, McEwan off to a hot start on the PGT. As you mentioned, Donnie, I believe he has 8 cashes already. Of course, those were all in Hold'em events. This is our first PLO series of the year. McEwan in 2025, still looking for his first win, though.
Yeah, a couple final tables so far, so good start. You know, it's still early. We're not even fully through March yet. And this series is also quite a long one in general. 11 events total.
9-7-6, 2 clubs. 10-8 of clubs looking pretty good here for McEwan.
Beautiful flop for him.
McEwan decides to check to the initial raiser. Action goes check, check. Turn brings the 8 of hearts. McEwan now gets the check mark. McEwan again continues the slow play here. Perhaps giving Riordan lots of overpairs, hoping that he can get a check raise in. 10-jack, of course, now making a higher straight, but McEwan blocks 2 10s himself, so chances of that are far more unlikely. And if you look at the pot size, McEwan has basically a pot size bet left. Deuce of diamonds, a beautiful card on the river for McEwan.
650.
He's going to bet 650, leaving himself with 300K behind. Now, Riordan, of course, completely whiffing on this board. And McEwan takes this one down.
5 minutes left until this level. We're on for hopping time to finish. 2 hands play. Play 2 hands. Matthew with 2 hands and then line with the 75 1.
All right, look at that beautiful Las Vegas skyline. Let me remind you of OccupyPoker.ai. You can drill real spots from PGT final tables in the ultimate poker lab for everyone. Go check it out right now on OccupyPoker.ai. Free and paid plans are available, so don't miss out on any of the action that they provide, giving you a chance to really up your game in 2025.
Don't some go to 150? No, I think some of them go to 150 sometimes. There's some big jump.
Yeah, there's some big jumps sometimes.
Maybe this.
Well, 150 to 200 is huge.
Oh,
Yeah,
they took it out?
Oh, they took it out.
They took out the jump?
That was enormous.
Dude, that jump is insane.
Yeah.
The level of death is no longer the level of death, Donnie?
We just got to wait longer to get to the level of death.
An hour longer?
Yeah, you know, they're just trying to kill us off slowly, not just end us as fast as possible.
Levels, by the way, in event number 1 are 30 minutes in length.
10 seconds.
Right now we are on 50K, 100K. Then we'll go to 75, 125, and then 75, 150.
Yeah, that 75, 125 was the one that we recently put back in. Player request. Player request.
I mean, it just, you know, sort of in general, we'll add about half an hour to each final table. The fact that we have additional room for play, which will make these final tables a bit more interesting, a bit more deep stacked action as we get shorthanded, which is always fun to watch.
I do always feel like PLO plays faster than No Limit Hold'em. Like, I think mixed plays fast, and then PLO is like in the middle, and then No Limit Hold'em probably plays the slowest.
It is funny, though, because at the start of a tournament, I feel like PLO sort of invites to play a little bit tighter. But then as the tournament progresses and you get to a more short stack situation, equities run so close that, you know, the 3-bet, the committal 3-bet will often result in an all-in showdown because you just cannot give up your equity once you have a good amount of chips committed.
Yep.
King Deuce 5 here. McEwan limped in. Chen made it 300K and will now take it with a bet on the flop.
50.
Like this level, and then 7500.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah, I remember that.
Nice hat.
Thanks.
You gonna take
Is this the
It
first
lines
series
up.
they took it out, or just this year?
They did it
The mix also.
In parallel.
Yeah, I feel like I made something. I think it was earlier
It
this
is, right?
year, and it was
Part of
there.
why I like
yeah.
it. But they just honestly have very good branding.
Yeah.
That's the end of the silver.
If you're with us in the chat, please don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. We have daily clips going out. Recently, and Donnie, I know you've noticed this, we've been posting some 2005 WSP bracelet events on our YouTube channel. I will say, even if you don't know perhaps some of the players from back then, it is so fun to relive some of those final tables.
Oh yeah, they're great. I mean, everything from like
never
the
mind.
way that it was shot, the players,
like,
the
totally got the
antics,
chips
the
backwards
the
somehow.
play itself, like
did.
Oh yeah.
people
time I
raising
came up with some
5x,
number.
6x, you know, just like crazy stuff.
Honestly, I saw that. I'm like, that's kind of a weird number for you right now.
Yeah.
There's much more on the
Usually
line
I'm the one who doesn't know. what
at
it
these
is.
PGT events than just the cash.
Yeah.
The points in the race for the overall leaderboard are very important as well. The top 40 will qualify for the $1 million PGT Championship at the end of the year, which is a free roll for those top 40 players, along with other select qualifiers. 180 points up for grabs here at today's final table. The leader currently on that leaderboard is Joey Weissman with 907 points, courtesy of his dominant performance at the PokerGo Cup. Kristen Fox and Eric Blair, Michael Monsek, and Nick Schulman rounding out the top 5.
Yeah, I remember that now, actually. Because that would be like, how is there not some level in the middle?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good change.
Among the players that I've seen in the room today, including Schulman, also Zhao Samao, Chino Reem, Daniel Negreanu, who are all in the top 10 as well on the points standings. It's really a who's who of the leaderboard.
Yeah, I know Patrick Leonard's out there. I think Sean Winter's out there. I mean, yeah, they're all here. And they're here early today because a PKO tournament, you want to get there early. You want to try and get some of those bounties and start building those payouts as well. So the room was absolutely packed to start things off. I think they even had to start a little bit later than they might have liked to, but cards underway.
Yeah, these players here might be a little bit bummed that they couldn't start this final table at 10 in the morning. They are missing out on some PKO time.
Time extension.
Nguyen pouncing on this one with the ace-king 9-6 double suited. It's going to put McEwan in a spot. McEwan has really not been active at all here at this final table. Finally find something somewhat decent to put his money with in there. And oh, look, he's going to go with it.
And Nguyen is going to make the call. And we got 3.2 million in the middle. McEwan's tournament life on the line. Ace-king, 9-6 versus Ace-Jack 10 deuce. As you can see on the screen, basically 50-50 here.
I'll get fun about this one.
Fold it.
Here comes the flop. Wow. 10, 4, 6, 2 clubs. McEwan flops not only a 10, but also the nut club draw. And Nguyen now looking for a king, 9, or 6, but it can't be a club. Amazing flop for McEwan. Just goes to 83% all of a sudden. And the 7 of clubs will seal it. And Matthew McEwan will be the first player at this final table to receive a full double up, courtesy of Ki Nguyen, who is basically surrendering his profits from his early aggression to now be down a little bit here to start this final table.
Yeah, it feels great, of course, if you're McEwan. An onlooker there, but somebody who probably would have liked to see a pay jump. John Riordan, who's now the short stack on 1.35 million.
So that's how you win hands in PLO.
125.
Yeah, just block call.
Yeah, fucking stupid game. Stupid.
This is how you.
I mean,
Trying to play the bigger
it
level
would have been
anyway.
the same as open jamming, right?
Yeah.
At a PKO out
That's,
there to play
that's
it,
the
so.
mindset.
Okay.
You open
Got it.
jam,
PKO out
hand's
there
good
to
enough,
play.
you get called by better.
Got it. That actually makes a lot of sense.
Right.
When you say it like that.
Yeah. I mean, obviously there's a decision point after, but
Some people questioning whether the 10 deuce was good enough there to go along with the ace-jack for McEwan's tournament life. Does this come down to sort of how much you have invested and how close equities generally run in a game like this?
Yeah, probably felt like, you know, he can have a fair amount of equity there. As you mentioned, equities do run pretty close overall. It's hard to be absolutely smashed in PLO. And then, yeah, in combination with the fact that he was pretty short. I think he was off 12 bigs, give or take, you know, so comes in for the raise. Do you really just want to give up, like, what, 25%, 30% of your stack there? All right, gamble it up. I think as Matthew McEwan said, F it.
McEwan, a professional from the Bay Area. His largest score was a 4th place finish at the WPT World Championship Mystery Bounty for 192,000. But he's been racking up cashes in quick succession, leading me to believe that a massive breakout win is just around the corner.
I don't know.
Or you're just
They asked me.
whatever one.
They just asked me to switch. I don't know.
You went over there and they said, "Will you switch these?"
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought you requested the switch.
No, actually, I like the red one.
The red one.
Yeah, the red one's the one they had last series.
Oh, I don't even know about the red one. I guess. I'm gonna try.
You should try making more final tables.
Well, I wasn't here. I wonder if they use the red for the mix and this for PLO. And
Oh, I wasn't here for the mix either.
Oh,
I meant the last PLO.
oh, okay.
I think it was
Gotcha.
red.
I made one. I did make a final table.
I like the red one.
It was red.
Yeah, I think so.
Can't even picture.
It looks like that, but red.
10 seconds.
Just exactly like this one.
Pretty much.
Seconds.
275.
Yockey staying aggressive, not letting Ausmus see a cheap flop here. Ausmus does have a nice hand, 10-10, 9-8. Would, of course, prefer to not have 3 spades, but definitely a hand with some potential here, especially up against ace-5, deuce-deuce. And we see queen, jack, 7 open-ended here for Ausmus. Bryce Yockey probably thinking to himself that this will probably connect with Ausmus' range more than his.
275.
Ausmus comes along, makes the call. Board pairs on the turn. This will probably favor Yockey a little bit.
Yeah, if Yockey continues, I think Ausmus probably shuts this one down. Definitely don't think you want to be going after draws on paired boards. Add to that when there is a flush draw possible, which could possibly remove some outs and put you in some bad spots. Tricky. You know, that said, it also does require Yockey to find another bet here, but he does have kind of like the nut low. Like, I mean, what his hand is like nothing. Like, he can't even just check back. So he is just gonna go firing away. Now it's tough for Ausmus.
Ausmus lets it go, and Yockey picks it up after bets on flop and turn.
Yockey almost at 7 million now. Cruising.
Nope.
Running too hot to give you any of my cards.
Felt like a good one.
If you're interested in live reporting, we have that available on pgt.com. Keep track of every single tournament of this series, especially if you want to follow along with the action prior to the final table. You can see that Nick Schulman is currently the chip leader in the Progressive Bounty event.
Riordan's turn to get after it, and looks like this money's going to be going in from Yockey.
10 seconds.
$1 million.
It's going to make it 1 million. Action back to Riordan. And there it is. Riordan makes the call, leaving himself with 275,000. Ace 3-7 on the flop. That's John Riordan. He moves all in. Excuse me, Yockey already bet. Riordan makes the call, and now Yockey with only 2 outs here. John Riordan in a great situation to double up.
Could go running kings.
Yeah, I was going to say, you got backdoor quads.
They have a lot more outs than I had.
Reference to
the 3-3 run out.
the Ausmus miracle from last night.
Oh, yes.
That's a fun one.
4 of spades on the turn. Yockey, you're looking for a king and a king only to send Riordan to the rail. River is at 5 of clubs and 2 all-ins, 2 double-ups, and we are still 6-handed here at this final table. Final 6 guaranteed, $41,000.
It's a lot more. Double.
Yeah, it feels unjust that you hit it and I missed.
Yeah. I know. Double the out.
I'm waiting for a safe flop, just like Steve.
Yep.
Little better outcome for me.
You got more paid because of that too. If he went all in pre-flop, I would have folded.
Yeah, he got some of his chips. He called because
Steve went all in, I would have folded.
Oh, yeah.
called.
Right, I know.
stuck in there.
Wow.
That's why I was like,
He was inviting you in for
Yeah,
some
I guess he
reason.
was.
I actually still thought he had aces, honestly. But.
yeah.
Me too.
I know.
that was weird. I was like, when he called, I'm like, oh my God, he's got it.
He said, I'll give you protection. That's what he said.
Yeah.
He said, I'll give you protection. I was like, he's got aces for sure.
You guys are sick.
The 4th
he
time
opens
now
about 8
in
aces.
19 hands that Key Nguyen
I should have just folded my
picks up
king,
aces.
jack, maybe.
Crazy.
Flat.
But then you don't get to
I mean,
realize
he
you're
wasn't-
maybe the flop checks around, you know? He traps, turns king.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. It was UTG 7. You know?
Freaking-
I wasn't too excited about it.
Digging the knife in right now. You guys are sick. Pouring salt on the wood.
Fold.
Should have folded to the open.
I had aces laying open. He raised pre-flop. He make him mix it up. You know, Steve will mix it up.
You can mix it up.
Yeah, you might have double suited queens.
10 seconds.
Chen, the big blind, the last potential customer here for Nguyen, and he's going to come along and make the call. Ace Queen 6-5 looks more like 2 hold'em hands than a PLO hand, but I guess if you can defend from the big blind, it's worthy to see
I brought you no
a
shirts,
flop,
by the way.
which brings King 4 Jack, all clubs.
You didn't laugh at my comment this morning.
I was too busy doing visualization of how I'm going to bust
The
you.
assassination classroom watching.
I know, I saw that. That was funny.
Nguyen's got that ace of club blocker, which he'll use to his advantage. Nguyen with the bet, and Chen with the fold.
I think we're going to get to the level of death before we see an elimination. That's my call.
I mean, the players aren't, necessarily shallow as far as chips goes. It's pretty evenly distributed. Everyone in that 20 to 25 big blind range, and with Yockey, the front runner, on 45 big blinds. But 20 big blinds in this economy in 2025.
You're a millionaire.
Yeah, exactly.
Give him a Bloody Mary.
I'll get a hot green tea with honey. Thank you.
$450.
450.
Action folds over to Nguyen after McEwan made it 450, and he'll let it go.
Touch the Tana for good luck.
Bryce Yockey so far the most aggressive player by quite a bit, having raised 50% of all the hands we've played so far. Ace King 4. Rainbow flop here as Riordan defends. Definitely very noticeable how Yockey is just going for aggression here given his stack size.
Yeah, of course. It's always extra fun, at least in my opinion, to have a chip leader who is stepping on the gas and doing his job as the chip leader. Riordan does call.
Yockey stabbed twice to get Ausmus to fold on the turn a few hands ago. Will he continue firing with this one as well, Donnie? Nothing in his hand really gives him a lot of confidence that he's blocking anything noteworthy. And we are going to go check to the river, which brings the 5 of diamonds. Now, Riordan is not strong at all either here.
No, he's not, but he could have, an ace with some sort of straight draw combination. I think he can have some 2 pairs in there as well. So if you view that from Yockey's side of things, do you think you can pressure him off of there? I don't know. Yockey just going to check back.
threw too much in again.
Again.
You're a high stakes player, man.
Too rich.
Pot.
McEwan double suited here with ace queen 10-4 is going to raise pot. Donnie, how much sort of do these players work on pre-flop sizing here in tournaments like this? You know, we've seen quite a bit of just standard 3x raising, which in this case, you know, the pot size raised, so to say, versus, you know, in Hold'em where we see perhaps a bit more min raising.
Yeah, I think it's just more common here for everyone to do 3x, at least still to this point, if not, you know, 2.5. I think min raising when, you know, your opponent has 4 cards from specifically the big blind, a lot of opportunities there, so make that price a little bit worse. And then depending on how things shake out, at least as it relates to Yockey right now, because he's the chip leader. Let's say he stretches out a bigger chip lead and continues to drive the other players further down. Maybe he just comes in with some pot size raises pre-flop and just really tries to deny them entry into the pot as much as possible. Keep them at arm's length as he continues to widen his gap. So keep an eye on that as well.
McEwan with aces is going to continue here for 550. Yockey lets it go, and all of a sudden, McEwan, after doubling up and a few pre-flop raises, now tied for the chip lead, and it goes to show how volatile this game can be.
Stay aggressive, boys and girls. Stay aggressive. And maybe one day you could be the chip leader of a PGT event.
Yockey's turn to raise again. Jack, Jack, 9-4, and McEwan with the rundown, 9-8-8-7. He's going to come along and make the call in this blind battle.
Gotta do it, man. Gotta do it.
Ace 10-5.
You remember the one with Zobian? It was like basically like boxing.
Neither player excited about this, but let's see if Yockey is going to continue stabbing.
No.
It was like all time. Yeah.
standing up like every 2 seconds.
I don't know if it was every 2 seconds, but he was just doing like wild freaking.
That's 300K here as the stand-up game has started here. The final table.
Let's go. Last one standing gets eliminated. Is that how it works?
I mean, Donnie, we really should introduce the knit game into tournaments.
Why not?
All the deuces in the deck.
Yeah, we got to check those cards. Not shuffling.
You guys want to speed up the tournament, you know.
Yeah, they add a level, but shorten every time at the end.
Yeah. Triton, the less number of people, like it's at 4 people, goes at like 20-minute levels or something, and heads up is like.
Really? They make it faster?
Yeah.
I kind of don't like that.
And the structure's already really fast.
Yeah. I like it that the levels stay the same and the structure's actually good when like the most money's on the line.
Yeah, for sure.
Gamble, gamble.
10 seconds.
Yockey limping in on the button, straying away from his consistent pre-flop raising. Thanks, Jason, in the chat, a member of the Rail for the last 21 months. One of our OG regulars in the chat. Very much appreciate it. Thanks for hanging out. Ogdog in the chat as well. Thank you. I see Ivan Marganov as well. I'm starting to get to know all these names now. It's pretty cool to see here as Chen takes a small one down here. We got lots of PLO final tables coming up this week.
Yeah,
if you go to PokerGO.com/schedule, you can check out all that we have on tap. 5K PLO PKO tomorrow, then another 5K PLO, 10K PLO, 10K PKO. That is just in the next few days. The buy-ins go all the way up to the 25K PLO Championship, which airs on Saturday, April 5th at 6 p.m. How much room for creativity, Donnie, do you think there still is at tournament final tables? I know that I've heard players say stuff like, it becomes a bit of a math contest. It's very much so about who's the most studied, but then sometimes we see players a bit more unorthodox still have success as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think naturally the deeper the stacks are, the more it lends itself to creativity becoming much more of a thing. I mean, here they're fairly deep. I mean, for a final table that we can sometimes see in these PGT events, Ausmus is the shortest with 18 bigs, but in the pot limit format, I think that's still plenty of maneuverability, and that can mean some creativity. So I think you could see some well-timed bluffs if it comes, players leveraging different sort of blockers in their hands, whether that's straight blockers, flush blockers, etc. I think you can certainly see that from this bunch if the opportunities do present themselves. But on the other hand, the longer we stay six-handed and don't lose anyone, the shorter the average stack is going to get, which means that it's just really going to become, okay, I think I have this much equity, I got this stack size, let's get the money in and let's run it. And speaking of creativity, Chen is just firing away flop and turn here. But of course he's run into it here from Nguyen, who has 3 kings. Nguyen does call up over $1 million out there. Another 10 here on the river. Chen gonna shut it down. Let's see what sort of value we get out of Suited Superman. I would love to know the genesis of that nickname. Suited Superman.
10 seconds.
$300K is the bet. Chen can't call. Nice pot there for Kai. Oops.
Super flat stacks. Instead of super flat stacks.
Suited Superman not doing a whole lot of vlogging and posting at this final table yet.
He took his phone, man.
Oh yeah, that's true.
You should give it back, you know? Vlogger exemption.
All right, still 6-handed. The final 6 guaranteed $41,000. Quick reminder here to check out playpokergo.com, a fun and free online poker game. So deal yourself in right now at playpokergo.com. Available on web, iOS, and Android. I promise you, between going to the URL and getting in a game, less than a minute. Less than a minute. Let's go get into the action and have some fun with it. All right, chat, let's hear it. Who's going to win this thing? I feel as though it is anyone's game here. I have no real clear favorite. I know that Bryce Yockey probably should be the favorite, given his playing style, his position on Ausmus, and the fact that he knows how to close one out. But this game's so volatile. Wouldn't put it past any of these players to get the win here. Riordan and Chen going head-to-head here. Chen makes it 400,000. Riordan made the call from the big blind. 9-3-4 rainbow flop. Very uninspiring for both.
Yeah, but one of these players has position. No, he's going to elect not to bet. Wonder if this opens the door for Riordan to take a stab now.
10 seconds.
Check.
In these sorts of situations, it very much becomes a leveling game in these players' heads, of course. You don't want to be the one taking the stab when your opponent does end up being the one holding a set of 9s or even, you know, set of 4s or something like that. However, in PLO, you generally have to do your own betting. Check raising not nearly as common as it is in No Limit Hold'em, at least from my perspective. Donnie, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, I think you would have heard from Chen by now had he had some sort of value. You know, I think his hand kind of looks very much like it is. Maybe even having some sort of ace high in there, but I think Riordan does take that into account with the fact that, listen, I'm not going to win this unless I bet, so I'm going to bet. Pulls the trigger for 300K.
10 seconds.
And Chen's out of there.
Question in the chat on PokerGo. I'm about to come down to rail. Is there a good spot for guests to sweat? We have a little green room where you can sweat the action on the TVs. So yes, that is a pretty good place to sweat. The bar is also open, so you can get yourself a drink and come hang out. The PokerGo studio, very inviting to poker fans. I will highly recommend if you are in town or visiting in the future. Check our schedule on PokerGo.com, and if we have an event going on that has a live stream, then you're more than welcome to come hang out. Ace, King, King, Jack for Chen.
10 seconds.
Premium starting hand. He's going to raise it up. Nap time for Bryce Yockey. Come on, Bryce. It's only event number 1. You're not supposed to be event 10 type tired.
Look who's got aces again.
Oh my God. That's the 5th time, in case you're keeping score at home.
It's wild.
Nguyen picks up aces again, but has nothing to show for, really.
Oh, you could hear from Yockey here. Ace, King, 6-5, double suited.
Oh, wow. Comes over the top for pot, and this opens the floodgates as Nguyen now gets a chance to put all his chips in the middle. He moves all in. Yockey makes the call, and we got the double-suited ace-king versus the aces. 63% for Nguyen, and on his 5th time receiving aces at this final table, and we are just 29 hands in, he now finally gets them all in.
Club's no good.
Yeah, if Nguyen is able to hold here and get the double up, he will take quite a nice chip lead.
I'm unbluffable. You should know this. Yeah. Running out there, make it quick and painless. 7-3-4. Turn jack, just so there's a little bit of hope.
All right, Nguyen looking for a double up with aces, and the flop brings him the nut flush draw, gives Yockey a pair of kings. Yockey now looking for a king or a 5. And as you can see on the screen, the 6s and the other king are already dead to him. 9 of clubs on the turn now, adding some outs with the inside straight draw. Nguyen still 79% to double up with 6.7 million in the middle. Is he going to fade it? He does. And Nguyen's aces hold up. And he is now the chip leader by quite the margin, as Bryce Yockey is our new short stack. And this is exactly what I mentioned earlier, that it's anyone's game.
Swingy, swingy is PLO. Always tends to bring the action, and of course right there, those 2 hands clash. Yockey just tumbling down the leaderboard, man. He's got 10 bigs now. What the heck? 5th time's the charm for
yeah,
key
exactly.
win.
Yeah.
You imagine going out in 6th place and being like, I had aces 5 times. I know it's PLO, but I had aces 5 times. I mean, there's been fewer than 30 hands played at this final table so far, and he's had aces in his hand 5 times.
It's funny because usually when someone gets aces that much, it's enough to make a sick YouTube compilation. But in this case, not much has happened up until right now, where he finds himself a double up.
And let's see if Nguyen, you know, he has the chip lead, yes, and it's a sizable one, but let's see if he just takes over the role that Yockey had in regards to being the aggressor at the table and looking to put a lot of pressure in a lot of different spots.
The feed inside the studio, for those asking, is the live feed without hole cards. So just so you know, that is real time, no hole cards. You can, of course, keep the stream with hole cards open on your phone while you're here. Whenever friends and family come and watch in the studio, we want to give them the real-time sweat as opposed to them being in the dark and then all of a sudden watching their, you know, friend or family member walk out the room and like, oh, you're still in, you got tons of chips on the stream.
Yeah, no, I'm out. I'm out.
For those new to Pot Limit Omaha, you have to use 2 cards from your hand, minimum and maximum. So 3 spades in your hand brings you no closer to a flush than having 2 spades in your hand. It actually works against you because you're stealing one of your own outs. First prize today, $180,000 for this 5K buy-in. 164 entries in this event.
10 seconds.
450.
Top 450.
Nguyen makes it pot size. All right, nobody wants to go home today, as we just saw 3 big double ups. But of course, that is all because these players want to get as many points as possible in the race for the championship. The PGT $1 Million free roll happening at the end of the year will feature the top 40 players on the season-long standings, along with, if you read the bottom sentence, you, because you can win a seat into this exclusive event. Go to pgt.com/dream-seat to find out how you can be there at the end of 2025 to play for that $1 million prize pool. Donnie, you got to interact and talk to some of the people that won their way into the Dream Seat Invitational last year. Give the people at home a little insight on what that was like and how excited those people were.
I mean, it was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. You know, not many people are able to play inside the PokerGo studio and hopefully get a chance at, you know, winning a share of that $1 million prize pool should you get into that championship event.
He doesn't appreciate them. But
so listen, it's a great opportunity. There are many opportunities that are available via that URL that are for free, F-R-E-E, completely free. So take your shot, get in there, live your poker dream. Listen, if you got the buy-in, okay, you know, 5K, 10K, whatever it is. Would love to see you in a PGT event, yes, but many people don't. Many poker players don't, myself included. So, you know, I can't get into those those giveaways, but you guys all out there can. There are also partnerships in conjunction with the Run Good Poker Series, where if you win a Run Good ring, you can get into their Dream Seat Invitational Tournament, win your entry that way. But, you know, everyone that I talked to that ended up getting in truly did express that it was kind of a dream come true, that once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, bucket list type of item.
Playing at the studio alone is already quite the bucket list item for many, let alone playing for a first prize that's in the, I guess, $300,000 to $500,000 range.
Raise to 400.
Yeah, it could really change your life.
McEwan again with the raise. He's been very active as of late. King 10, 10, 8 this time around. Nine, 9, 8, 2 diamonds. Riordan flopping trips. That's exactly what the doctor ordered.
Bet 325.
Not strange to see McEwan continue here, Don.
No, I mean, as the pre-flop raiser, does have some connectivity, wrap around this year with that 10-8 of hearts. He, of course, has the overpair of 10s to the board for 2 pairs, so pretty understandable here for him to come with a continuation bet. Just so often here that Riordan can just whiff and ultimately check fold. But we can, of course, see Riordan has a 9. Makes the call.
John Riordan, just shy of $4 million in career tournament earnings. 2 World Series of Poker bracelet under his belt, 5 WSOP circuit rings, and 2 wins on the PGT. Turn brings the 5 of clubs, 96% now for Riordan, who continues to check. Donnie, is that check a result of not being concerned about McEwan's range here?
Well, I think on one side, you know, you want to allow your opponent to keep all of his bluffs in. I think Riordan generally feels really good about his hand. And now with a full house here, I would expect him to just go value hunting, and it's just a matter of sizing.
Making stories about beating you, or what?
Yeah, he's like, look how bad this guy got it in. Didn't even have a pair.
Nguyen left the room, probably to talk to his Instagram followers.
I hope so.
Riordan with 1.675 in the middle is going to bet 400,000. McEwan pairing his king on the end here, giving it some thought.
I think this is probably just a fold. I mean, your hand kind of blocks a lot of the bluffs that you want your opponent to have. Like, you want him to have some missed diamonds, probably. The 10s, you know, you want him to have a 10-7, Jack 10, that sort of stuff would be my guess here. So I think Riordan might just have a fair bit of 9s. Oh, he does pay him off.
Oh, wow. And John Riordan with a tremendous bit of value there by playing this hand a bit passively. And now Riordan closing in on the lead as McEwan gives up a chunk of his chips. And once again here, a reminder to scan the QR code on your screen and start playing free online poker right now wherever you are in the world, because it is free. Play PokerGO.com, get in the mix right now and start playing. Donnie and I are on there all the time.
A couple things to take away from that hand there, you know. On the side of McEwan, that hand in combination with earlier when he got his money in with the, what was it, ace-jack 10 deuce pre-flop, kind of makes me think that he is just a little bit more on the sticky side overall. I know it's not necessarily the norm to classify calling off your chips pre-flop as being quote-unquote sticky, but you know, I'll kind of bucket those two things in the same vertical. And then I'm also curious to know how he perceives Riordan and if they played with each other yesterday. I can't remember if they played at the same table. But I do know that yesterday Riordan was pretty splashy overall. Like he was the chip leader, and then he was kind of down to the middle of the pack. Then he was the chip leader again. He was kind of all over the place. He was playing a lot of hands. He was being very aggressive. So if McEwan knows that of Riordan, knows he's capable of getting out there, getting after it, then could lead him to call there, yes. Yockey here comes full pot under the gun, king, jack 10, and Ausmus calls with almost 1.3 out there. Yockey having 900K behind. We could end up with an all-in here. Queen 9-6, 2 spades. Pretty good for Yockey. Still got the overpair, straight draw. Got a spade blocker.
Looks to me like pretty automatic here for Yockey. When you flop like this, with a hand like this.
Yeah, I think things are pretty good for him.
750.
That is 750.
He bets all but 150,000 of his chips. Ausmus is going to move all in. He's got king, queen, 5-5, a pair of queens, and the queen high flush draw. And Ausmus now looking for a spade, a queen, or a 5. As you can see, some of his outs have already been folded, so it's not as good as it looks on the surface.
I mean, the equities are always so close. I mean, it's so crazy, right?
Yep. Turn card. The 7 of clubs. Ausmus still looking for one of those 7 cards to send the start of the day chip leader to the rail, which would be an insane turn of events to go from 0 to 0. But Bryce Yockey right now, a big favorite to double up to 3 million. River card, the 7 of diamonds, and Yockey's kings will hold up, and he'll double back up.
990?
900.
900?
Yeah. No 90s here.
That's a good point. That's a very good point.
And now it's Ausmus tumbling down to become the short stack. 1,075,000 for him. Maybe luck running out a little bit for Jeremy Ausmus, who couldn't lose an all-in yesterday to save his life. I see Leor asking what the shot clock is. I believe it's 20 seconds pre and then 30 seconds for each of those time extension plaques that the players have. Haven't really seen too much usage of the time extension plaques here at this final table. You know, players generally play pretty quickly in PLO. And I'm sure, you know, we'll run into some situations where there's a lengthy tank, but for the most part, you know, players move things along quite nicely. Yeah, it is 20 seconds pre-flop and then 30 seconds post-flop in those.
Nobody wants to die.
Yeah, I know.
Nobody wants to die.
I don't think they usually want to, though.
It's true. It's just, they don't always get their wish granted, you know?
Yeah.
Seconds.
525.
Nguyen comes back to the table and raises the 525. Takes it down.
Believe he's the first player over 7 million. I know Yockey got close, but don't think he ever eclipsed the 7 million chip mark. So Suited Superman flying high.
How PLO tables usually, phone tables, like nobody ever busts.
Sometimes. Depends if the lucky people are short or deep. If the lucky people are short, it goes forever.
10 seconds.
You got to get rid of that 75, 125 level.
Yeah,
Always slow
that was just a waste of time. We went to 150, 75, 150, and we had a bunch of all-ins already.
10 seconds.
Just do a double level of that.
So Chen hits Nguyen with a limp raise here. Nguyen made it 450 with ace queen 8-5. Chen with those kings says, all right, let's go.
10 seconds.
Nguyen gives it up and Chen takes that one.
For 5 minutes left of the level, we
It's
are
like more like a no limit console, to be honest.
4
Like lots of raising, revetting, folding.
Got a new deck.
The found tails I'm used to seeing people like cold call off 20 blinds. Like fucking 6, 7, 8, 9 single suited. Pair an open ender gets in.
I've seen this a couple times now. Players on the button opting to limp in as opposed to come in with a raise. Just trying to keep the pot a little bit smaller here and play in position. Nguyen doesn't want to try and keep this one small. He wants to apply leverage. Makes it 600K.
in all our years doing final table coverage, Donnie, I don't think we've ever seen 90 minutes without a bust out. It's pretty intense that we're still 6-handed right now.
Yeah, of course. As Jeremy Ausmus just said not too long ago, nobody wants to die. Which is a good trait to have in a poker tournament. Fight till the bitter end, baby. Jeremy Ausmus there, 1 million in chips for him. The short stack by far needs to make something happen. Chen says it's time to raise it. Ace 10, 10, 5. Riordan with a couple of kings.
10 seconds.
Call slide.
Seconds.
Heads up.
Heads up here between Riordan and Chen. And Riordan drills top set on the King 9-5 rainbow.
Bet 500.
Chen's going to continue with the aggression. Let's see how Riordan approaches this one. You know, not too long ago, he check called with those 3 9s against Matthew McEwan. Let's say if he takes a similar, you know, kind of slow playing approach, or if he just decides to check raise and start driving the money in now. Probably feels favorable that he has backdoor spades. He's got a queen that can block some straight combinations. So might feel better about just coming with a check call here.
Out of the 22 point.
Tough going here for Chen. Can we fault him for taking a stab for 500K, given his stack size and how his hand did not connect with the board whatsoever?
Sorry, say that again.
Can we fault him for continuing there for 500K? You know, given that he had such little connectivity with the board.
Yeah, I think he's just c-betting, obviously, hoping to take it down right there, act as the pre-flop aggressor, all that sort of stuff. I don't think it's too crazy. You know, he himself has 2 10s in his hand, which, you know, I mentioned the queen blocking some straight draws. It can, you know, those 10s block some straight draws, block some continues for your opponent.
Ten, 9, 7, 6 in the small blind for Ausmus, down to just 625 after posting the small blind. And
yeah, this will be enough here.
How much you playing behind?
Here, this is 450, right?
Yeah, and
Yockey interested in the total, but he won't be anymore when he takes a honest look at those cards in front of him. It's not easy playing pot limit Omaha, Donnie. Very exhausting.
It's not easy. It's not fun right now if you're Bryce Yockey, where you had the big chip lead and things have just gone the other way. Even there, you know, you kind of want to pick up a hand and bust your opponent.
Couldn't handle the pressure. I said I couldn't handle the pressure.
So you folded under pressure?
Yeah, I just gave in.
Big pot.
Seeing some talk in the chat about final table attire. Some people calling for a ban of hoodies, sunglasses, and hats, especially the combination of all those items. Have we lost the plot collectively?
I mean, who cares? Honestly, who cares?
Now, Donnie,
I want what? Like,
where do you draw the line?
Here's my thing. Why do people care? I'm genuinely asking, like, why do people care? Like, for example, John Riordan, I think, is the biggest culprit here people are coming after. Like, do you want to see his hair and, like, his eyes? Like, is that why you don't? Like, what's the reason, as a viewer out there, what's the reason? Like, now, listen, I'll say that I think that oftentimes when players cover up a lot, they are more likely to tank and play a little bit slower. And then maybe those two things kind of get blurred together, which then, you know, prompts people to attack the sunglasses, the hoodies, and all that sort of stuff. But what you really want to do is attack the slow play, or maybe the lack of antics. Now, if John Riordan was there naked, he's not going to be doing jumping jacks. You know, he's just going to be sitting there, you know,
I mean, he is going like full Vogel saying whenever he's in the hands. All right, let us know in the chat. Should all headwear be banned? So sunglasses, hats, hoodies, should they all be banned? You know, it's 2025. We don't do any middle ground. It is just yes or no.
Surf and Snowboard said the people viewing care, which is how PokerGo makes money. Okay, but we'll skip the second part. But the first part, I'm asking you why. Why do you care, though? Like, I'm genuinely asking, like, what you want to see is the color of his eyes?
Right.
They're probably brown, but, you know, I mean, like, I just want to know why.
And also, you know, it's a personal decision. So if Ausmus wanted to do that, he also could.
Pretty much the game.
You have to run the stop and go as the aggressor.
We're not doing that.
Yeah.
Fold a bunch.
You know, we're missing a lot of time in the PKO right now to just pass chips
That's
around.
what I'm saying. This is brutal.
I think we should just
KC
like
says
say whatever
because
the day
face and
started is
eyes
how we
can
finish.
give away something. I mean,
I'm down with
I don't know, man. I'm not sure these people are really, you know,
I'm in for that too.
digging through Mike Carroll's book of tells to figure out what these players have. I think they're kind of just playing ranges, positions at the table, stack sizes, etc.
I do think that the players who do hide, quote unquote hide, do it for personal comfort. That's their comfort zone. That's what they're used to. And there's a reason why certain players always do it and certain players don't. Now, I will say that if I ever make the final table of the Arya Nightly, I will probably also pull out the sunglasses because I'll be plenty nervous going into that situation.
I mean, I personally can't play in sunglasses.
Me too.
I feel like it affects my vision of the cards, and I'll mess something up. So I don't do it. Or,
now,
you know,
let me float you this
chip
one.
colors or whatever.
This one's for the chat.
Yeah, I would have been all in for sure.
What if, in order to make poker more engaging at the table, you would get more time extension chips if you start telling a story? Right? So like you're out of time, but if you start talking, you can continue thinking. Would that be a fun twist to whether it's cash or tournaments? Just poker?
It's like in video games, you have your power bar.
Yeah.
Like the more you talk, the more your power bar gets filled up with time.
Yeah, exactly. You can rap.
I mean, we might not have any players in events, but you know, other than that, I would like to know what the.
I mean, Negreanu would win every tournament. He's totally fine never shutting up.
I mean, listen, chat. Remko and I are generally with you guys, and we know where you're coming from. It's not as entertaining. We get it. But I think as a community, we might kind of need to just reconcile with ourselves that a lot of what we deem as entertaining is simply nostalgia from 2003, 2004, 2005. And quite honestly, the game has quite evolved since then. You know, every once in a while you get some breakthrough characters or final tables that are supremely entertaining. You know, I think the one that Remko, you and I did with Nick Schulman, Daniel Negreanu, remember that final table? I mean, that was wild.
Yep.
You know, but that's few and far between these days. It's just a different game, a different environment. You know, it's much more like chess. You know, it's just very strategic, not a lot of antics, yelling and screaming, personality, all that sort of stuff. Which, yeah, it can be deemed unfortunate, you know, because we want to see the fun and the craziness, but it's just the way things are.
Meanwhile, John Riordan continues to pick up kings, and we've made it to the river. Nguyen, having flopped a set of deuces, is going to finally throw out a bet here as we've been checking this thing all the way down. I love how people are annoyed at my suggestion of the talking rule. Believe it or not, that has actually been discussed. I'm not saying among us, but I've heard it floated around the poker sphere. So, you know, I'll take all this feedback back to the party involved here. And Nguyen tables his set and gets a nice bit of value here on the river.
Deuces.
Now,
deuces.
The one thing I will say about the speed of play, Donnie, is that in our collective memory of watching poker for the last 20+ years is a little bit skewed by the fact that we used to only watch edited down episodes of tournament final tables, right? So when you think back of the time before live streams, it felt as though everyone was acting fast because you never got to see the tanking because everything was instant because they had to cram it into a shortened episode. All right, quick reminder here that if you want to watch the best cash games, you can watch them live on PokerGo. Use promo code OMAHA25 for $20 off your first year of a new annual sub. And boy, oh boy, do we have some good games on offer. Donnie, you text me almost daily about the insane hands that are happening on high-stakes poker. No Gamble, No Future has also been off the charts. And more recently, you and I have commentated on some absurd hands during Cash Flow, which has now aired for 4 nights over the last 2 weeks. So it's definitely been quite a stretch of great action.
And listen, for those of you out there who are looking for personality, in poker, that resides in the cash game streets.
Yes.
Whether it's high-stakes poker, no gamble, no future, cash flow, whatever it may be, the players in these cash games are wacky, they're wild, they're chaotic. You know, they're doing nonsensical stuff. I mean, I'm sitting next to the guy who's Wheelmaster General on No Gamble, No Future and is, you know, cramming packs of mayonnaise down people's throats and giving them shots of liquor on set. Actual things that happen on that show, by the way. So, you know, if you guys want more personality, more fun, more gamble, less hoodies, sunglasses, and hats, then you got to watch cash games, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, that's just how things have evolved.
Back to the action here, 1.4 million in the middle. Nguyen raised it up to 600,000. Riordan made the call. We are in a blind battle. Nguyen flopping rather good here. He's got nut diamonds. He paired his 5.
10 seconds.
And Riordan, king 10, 9, 7. Pairs top pair, but doesn't have a whole lot else going for him right here. A good example of this, Donnie, is the fact that we covered Nguyen in a cash game on Sunday night where it was all banter and shenanigans.
Yeah, multiple glasses of wine.
Multiple.
Triple shot. I mean,
Riordan here, non-believer, making the call, coming to see the turn. Jack of hearts on the turn. Are you surprised to see Riordan come along here with just, King 7 on this flop? Not concerned about facing multiple streets of aggression with a hand that is pretty hard to turn into a showdown?
Well, I think he might be coming along for at least, I mean, like one street, and then he's not really going to continue after that.
So banking on the fact that Nguyen might want to slow down if the board doesn't progress in his favor.
Yeah, and I don't think to this point Nguyen has been overly aggressive, whereas Yockey was, I would think, certainly more aggressive. That's my thought process with how Yockey played the chip lead versus Nguyen here. So, okay, comes along again. I mean, straight draw now.
Yeah, impressive from Riordan. Taking this to the river, especially given the fact that Ausmus is very short. River brings the 3 of clubs. Nguyen does make 2 pair in the process. Nguyen decides to check on the river. Riordan most likely not thinking that his 7 is going to be good at showdown a lot of the time here. The question is, what story can he tell here as far as representing perceived value when this 3 hits?
10 seconds.
A hand like 4-6 is not impossible for Riordan to have, but decides to check back, and Nguyen announces 2 pair quickly. And Riordan is going to lose this one. Eddie, the fun player, says, why are we not calling Nguyen by his real name, Suited Superman? Well, if you had tuned in from the start, I mentioned it about 12 times and also shouted out his Instagram. We are obviously big fans.
But that's not his real name. I mean, let's be honest. Like
on Sunday it was.
I mean, Eddie's lying.
Eddie's real name is The Fun Player. That's how he's registered at his local DMV. PokerBit says, I don't know, I find cash games boring. I think that there's a time and a place for both. I'm personally more of a tournament guy myself. But, Donnie, and I think you have to also admit this, we've grown to love the cash games quite a bit more, given the recent exposure we've had to them.
Yeah, to me, cash games are entertainment. And I mean, tournaments are entertainment, yes, but I like tournaments a little bit more for the strategic aspect behind them.
We can play props.
Whereas cash games, I just,
we call them,
not that the players aren't like thinking that they want to beat each other, but it does feel a little bit more fun, entertaining.
Okay.
Ace, Queen, Queen, 10. Chen's going to make it 700.
Sure, but you can't actually call them during the game is the problem.
Shout out Sean Rice in the chat saying, can we give him an extra card to play some Big O? Thanks for announcing last Sunday.
What's Big O?
Or whatever we're playing for.
Just kidding. Just kidding.
Sean, what a brutal run you had. It was fun to call the action, but next time let your buddies know to get involved there with the 2 pair and the backdoor nut flush draw. It was quite a bit of passive play we saw, which surprised me, to say the least.
All right, $100. $100 everything's 100. Okay.
Ace, Queen, 9, middle set for Chen.
All right. So it's the duty, no pair. Flush, trips, straight flush, quads.
Chen's gonna put Ausmus all in, and let's see if we can get the graphics figured out here, as we are going to an all-in showdown. And here we go. Ausmus, King 9, 6-3. He's got the pair of 9s and the flush draw.
What's the nastiest?
Looking for one of 4 hearts because
9-9.
Chen has flopped the set.
King's pretty gross too.
Running 9-9 available here to Ausmus. He did it last. Oh! The first 9.
I swear.
9 of diamonds.
Not good for me, really.
On the turn.
Well, I mean, unless it's there.
Running quads if the 9 is still available, but
last time?
According
No,
to our
I did.
graphics, that is no
You're
longer
good.
the case. And the Jack of Clubs will seal the fate of Jeremy Ausmus, the reigning PGT Player of the Year. Ausmus collecting $41,000 for his efforts, and he'll be our 6th place finisher here today as James Chen breaks in the pot, and we are down to the final 5.
Good luck collecting.
One big one.
All right, that's one off. That's one less off my back. I don't want to like be chip leader to first to bust. It's like that would have sucked.
One big.
Yeah, same. And I came in last, so I laddered. It's like I'm good.
Yeah, it's like for you, it's like whatever.
Whatever.
For me, it's like I need to beat key heads up to be redeemed.
Final 5 now guaranteed $49,200. Good way to start the series for these players to get a nice little bit of cash going. Don't look now, Donnie, but Nguyen over 10 million chips. He has 50% of the chips in play as we are still 5-handed.
It's a bird. It's a plane. It's suited Superman, baby.
Wow. That is something else.
You have like 2 million back?
1.9 back.
Wait, did you watch Superman as a kid?
Yeah, I know.
I'm just saying.
Didn't see that you were going that direction, but I respect it.
No, it counts.
Does it?
Yeah, because it's a hand.
Okay. Yes.
We're playing props because we're so bored. D, what do you got over there now? Like 12? 11?
6, 7, 8, 9. No, 10. Yeah, 10 and change. Almost 11.
Yeah.
Now, yeah.
Yeah, it looks like 10-5 or something. All right.
You have like 2.5?
2.9.
2.9, got you.
Seven pot.
Stay on the gas, sir. Let's go. This is your tournament now. No one's got anything to play with, and Nguyen takes that
I
one.
really need to pee.
I've been holding it for 40 minutes.
Seems like take a long time for this first break.
All right, just look at the current PGT leaderboard. You can see the full standings on pgt.com/leaderboard. As I mentioned, Joey Weissman on 907 points. He's up top. Nick Schulman on 680, playing right now in the PGT PLO Series. I believe we're also going to be seeing Monsek and Eric Blair in action as well. Long road still ahead for those that want to qualify and make it into the top 40, but it's always good to get off to a strong start.
I know you mentioned it earlier at the top of the show, but Patrick Leonard, 6th, Yao Samao, 7th, Chino Reem, 8th on that leaderboard, Danny Negreanu, 10th on that leaderboard. All 4 of those names are here at the PGT PLO Series. They are competing every single day, so that graphic that we just saw could potentially change before this series is all said and done. Chen gets a walk in the big blind and he has aces.
I have
You said aces every other hand?
trip 3 wheel cards.
Maybe if it's 08.
Personally, I don't look when I get a walk.
No, there's no upside to that at all.
You know.
Once again, a reminder to please smash that like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you are catching us right there, please turn on your notifications for our channel, as we will be live a lot in the next month or so. Like, probably, we're live almost as many days as there are in the month. It's kind of insane. We have PGT PLO Series. We have quite a few additional cash games streaming as well.
US Poker Open.
US Poker Open is coming up. We have more cash flow in the pipeline. And that's not even including the new cash game episodes that we were releasing on PokerGO.com, especially High Stakes Poker, No Gamble, No Future. Which
Texas
has been,
Poker Open.
Yeah, Texas Poker Open is coming up.
There's so much. So much.
There's like so much that you can hardly keep track, which is why if you're a subscriber, at least you get daily highlights and the best hands from all of our shows directly into your feed.
It's pretty good.
Chen here betting with king, queen, queen, deuce.
Maybe if you played for chips more often.
Got the overpair.
Seriously. I tried to play for chips more here.
Nothing for win. He lets it go.
10 seconds.
I honestly think, like, I don't know, because I can't prove it. That kind of thing, ICM sends probably of the low order value staying alive.
Probably.
I guess. Because, like, they don't have to have a future game at all.
Yeah.
So, as long as it's edge, those chips are really valuable.
Sure. I mean, it's a competition. You have to account for a future game.
Yeah, of course. But here you have no skill edge, so you should just go for it.
Oh, for sure. All in, baby.
Yockey will be playing this one. Ace King 10-9 double suited.
10 seconds.
You know, I saw Daniel Negreanu yesterday get dealt Ace King King double suited.
Wow.
Under the gun.
And no action.
Pretty sure there was no action. Pretty sure he raised and everyone folded.
Raise to 550.
Or maybe he had action. I can't remember. But still. Speaking of no action for Bryce Yockey as he takes that one with the raise pre-flop.
Was just to not let you bust me again.
Not let you bust you? I'm not letting you bust you?
Yeah. I'd be so sad.
You shouldn't have told me that. I'm just going to start raising your blind every time.
Oh, now you are?
I've only raised it once.
You only had one opportunity.
I didn't limp once?
No.
Oh.
Yes. At least I'm consistent.
Limp spot here between the two blinds, Riordan and Yockey. A couple of jacks and a 3 with 2 spades. Riordan's got spades. Yockey's got the best hand. You know, the funny thing is that John Riordan is quite a colorful, personable individual.
Right.
You know, every time I see him, he's super chatty, laughing, like. But then you get to the final table and he just goes into his shell. It's quite funny. Check on the flop, jack on the turn. Both players here with the full house. Yockey with the best of it. And he can't lose unless he folds. Wow, a Lamone mentioned in the chat. That's a flashback.
That's 250.
Yockey gonna come out firing here on the turn, 250. A little bit less than half pot.
Riordan comes along and makes the call. 4 of diamonds on the river. Yockey checks back. Riordan's going to show his pair, but those 10s are going to make the bigger full house. And Yockey's going to take this one.
Should have applied Zebo's theorem on the river there, Mr. Yockey. Do you think poker will ever have a no-strip sponsor?
A no-strip sponsor? I mean,
Bryce Yockey made me think of it, but there are like quite a few players now that wear one. Chance Corneth wears, you know, you see it a lot during the WCB and stuff. I mean, poker's not immune to kind of wacky sponsorships, right?
it's definitely something that would be very easy for Chance to pull off, probably. But he's probably too busy tweeting inspirational quotes.
His quotes are great.
That drives me crazy. He went
like for a great laugh.
He went on to ChatGPT one morning and said, "Give me 100 tweets about how to inspire people," and he just scheduled them all out. Just like classic engagement farming. It's just
poker is 2% skill, 3% luck, you know, 5% study, and 90% never giving the F up. I think that was like a recent one he put out there. It's so great. God bless him.
Your current poker trajectory is a result of what you did a year ago. Your trajectory a year from now will be a result of what you do now. Choose wisely. You know what the best thing is? That he retweets himself all the time.
Tornado Matty.
Is that good engagement? He's growing.
He does a spin.
Good for him. Good for Chance. We don't see him enough in the studio.
Yeah, if you show up in the studio, we'll stop giving you crap. That's the. That's how this works.
I can see that.
Hold on, guys.
What? Oh, I have 5 cards.
I think you gave him an extra card.
Oh, Big O. Yep. Game change.
You hear that, Sean Rice?
Oh my God.
We're in here.
God.
Oh my God. Actually, it got a lot worse.
Earl James in the chat said poker's 2.5% wardrobe. That is very true.
Every time something like that happens.
Speaking of wardrobe, Bryce Yockey's sweatshirt there is looking
just take this off.
quite a bit raggedy.
You might be the problem.
Rough around the edges.
Yeah, you either bust this all or you like go, you bust somehow. Like
I was folding the
tournament.
Yeah.
Super buddy.
I do tend to be involved in a lot of insane hands, so it wouldn't shock me if that happened at some point.
It's a good story.
5-way all in this one. I think they'll set it up.
Just straddle the 400. We'll probably all get it in.
I have the same hand.
Really? Destiny.
I hope I have the same hand.
What? 6? After 6?
You like just over mil total?
McEwan pots it out of the small blind. King, Jack,
450 back.
10-6.
10 seconds.
It's got just over $1 million total in play.
Time extension.
Chen makes the call, and here we go to a flop. McEwan only 450 behind, so get ready for this money to get in here.
King, king, queen on the flop. McEwan flopping
We gotta know.
trips with a straight draw.
450.
It's only 450, and Chen's thinking to himself, could I have maybe a little more equity? Even just a flush draw would have been nice.
10 seconds.
He had 30 seconds post flop, didn't I? This is pretty bad, I think, but.
Chen is going to make the call with only 2% equity. Can't hit a jack because that would give McEwan a full house.
He said, I think it's pretty bad, and it's way worse than he could have thought.
For the Jeremy.
It is top tier terrible. It's backdoor
2%.
hearts without pairing McEwan. Am I correct there? It's for sure got to be runner, and instead we see the queen of clubs, and that will secure McEwan's double up.
He knows how to do his spin. All he does is spin.
McEwan has been short on multiple occasions.
2.
Continues to stay in the hunt.
1, 3.
Oh my God.
Wow.
You did that just so we wouldn't catch on. All right. 1, 2, 3. Okay.
Ace, deuce, deuce, and Chen flops, trips. Nguyen now with almost no shot of winning this one. Lots of incentive here for those not named Nguyen to be tight and conservative, given the current pay jumps. Meanwhile, we're playing 100K, 200K. So the structure is definitely trying to send some people to the rail.
The people aren't cooperating.
The people are not cooperating.
The second biggest stack is Yockey, and he's got 15 and a half big
1.4
blinds.
and a quarter back.
It's just wild.
Call.
Riordan makes it 600,000 after Nguyen limped in.
Call.
And Nguyen is going to make the call. Very interesting situation here, given that Riordan only has $1 million left behind. King 10-7. Nguyen pairing his king. Backdoor spades to go along with it. Riordan with the Broadway draw. Backdoor hearts as well. Might we see Riordan go all in here, knowing that if Nguyen doesn't have a king here, it's going to be really hard for him to continue.
I wonder if Nguyen just jams. Yep, there it is.
Oh, wow. He does take the initiative into his own hands.
Annoying spot here if you are Riordan.
Yeah, 14, bet it's 14.
Gives it up. Nguyen takes that one. Flashes the king.
Kind of cool how you did that.
I'm assuming.
Thanks.
It was the king that he flashed.
You know who I've always kind of admired for this is Carlos Morton.
Oh, dude, he was insane. He would build like castles.
He would build like these crazy structures. I saw one online once. I don't know if he built this one or not, but I saw one online once where this guy like built like a base and then like a thing that was like turned into a base. Like a base, and then like it expanded into like this like bowl.
Kinda?
John, it was like this. It comes up and then like expands into like a bowl. It was insane. It's like honestly one of the best ship structures I've ever seen.
I've seen some wild ones at Commerce.
They're pretty cool. I mean, like, and you think to yourself, is God, how tight do these guys play? Like, unbelievable, bro. If you're playing limit poker, it's kind of different.
Yeah, because
There's this guy, Check Race Charles or something from NorCal. I think he's building some crazy limit hold'em structure.
Yeah. Limit poker players have more style, actually. They're kind of fun.
Yeah.
Check raise Charles.
They get to
Great name.
there's so many fun ways to splash chips.
Donk bet Donnie.
Do all sorts of other stuff.
Donk bet Donnie.
You guys all take a walk.
Re-raise
I'll take care of
Remko.
business.
Yeah, exactly. Best one I've ever seen in person was, I want to say, 2009 World Series Poker main event.
no, I
Brian
have to look.
Devonshire,
All right.
final 5 tables, I want to say. He had a giant, it looked like some convention center that he built. It was 2 pillars that met in the middle at a certain point, and it was all connected.
It's the second time in a row I've had that type of hand.
There it is. I found it.
we do a 10
Well, how tight was he playing?
Look at this.
Yeah, how tight was he playing?
Want to play online poker for free? With PlayPokerGo, you get the thrill of authentic poker anytime, anywhere. From quick casual games to action-packed tournaments, PlayPokerGo lets you compete against real players around the globe, all for free. No bots, no gimmicks, just pure poker fun. Hone your skills and enjoy the poker experience you love. Explore PlayPokerGo on web, iOS, and Android. Deal yourself in now.
Welcome back inside the PokerGo studio. We are bringing you
Did I take
live
those
coverage
chips
of the final table of event 1 of the 2025
I think those
PGT
are right.
PLO Series, the 5th iteration
No, I
of
really
this
did, though.
series.
I guess I'll check them back.
Harry in the chat is asking, is that suited Superman? Yes, it is. Indeed,
I
it
saw
is.
Matt throw out 375.
Okay.
He is
Jim.
in the mix here, and the runaway chip leader for now. Things have turned around quite drastically here.
Makes sense. I
Bryce Yockey started as chip leader, was the short stack at
your
one
mouth
point,
out
and
of
now back up
don't know.
in the middle.
Maybe it's fresh spring water out. No, for sure.
Somebody get this guy
Looking a little-
Aquafina.
Looking a little parched.
Oh my God.
Dizani.
Slow rolled.
Dizani.
You know Aquafina's hilarious. They got slow rolled.
I mean, these stacks are insane.
10 seconds.
Good game, John.
Thanks. Can you get 5 change? Or I'll take a chip. That's perfect.
Pot.
Thank you.
75.
There goes Riordan. Pot from the button.
Three-card hand for Yockey.
Wow.
Ending up in the muck.
Just double
How
up.
does everyone always fold when you raise?
I can't believe you're so blind versus blind. Wow, that must be a big hand.
I mean, maybe I shouldn't. I don't know.
Yeah, you're a little dehydrated.
Yeah. Wasn't sure if I wanted to W with fucking 9-4 deuce 5. No suits.
I had you in bad shape, actually.
I mean, I figured I was probably live, actually. I was in bad shape.
Okay.
I mean, worse shape than normal for 9 deuce 4 5.
Sort of. I don't know, it's complicated.
Raise pot.
875.
There you go. Superman, let's go. Don't even look.
He could also just sit back and let the other players bust each other, but there are definitely a lot of chips to be gained here, given the ICM implications.
I think Chen's probably got enough here, right? Especially with the suit there. Yep.
He's going to move all in for 2.1 million. 2.3, of course, if you include that big blind.
It's probably not good enough for win.
10 seconds.
Never mind.
Wow. Is going to make the call. King Jack 9-5 versus Ace King Queen 7. 60-40 in Chen's favor. 60% equity is sort of the thing you're hoping for in pot limit Omaha.
Oh, you had a prop.
That's what I said. Prop. It's not giving the weak eyebrow.
I forgot we were playing. I didn't look.
That's because she slept it. You can go back on the stream. You can go back on the stream and look.
Was it a big one?
No, it's 100. A big one. Come on.
Here comes the flop. Ace 4-6. Chen pairs his ace. Gives himself a nice lead here. 90% equity to get himself a double up, and this would give him a very, very nice second place on the standings. 3 of clubs on the turn will seal the deal, and James Chen will receive a double up. A little surprised to see,
It's a pretty big double.
yeah, see Nguyen take this shot here. Very good chance that a lot of his cards will be dominated there.
Yeah, I thought we would see a fold from him there.
Is that second in front of million?
Yep.
Oh, okay, thanks.
Make it easy on you, you know?
Appreciate it.
And
I
it's
need
not
all the
rough.
help I can get.
Hmm?
I need all the help I can get.
10 seconds.
King Jack 10-3. Chen's going to limp in from the small blind. Queen, queen, queen. Will the real queen please stand up? But no one has one. Jack on the turn, so keep in mind that Chen cannot make a full house because he does not have a pocket pair in his hand. Nguyen with a pair of 8s, therefore getting the check mark already. Interesting, whenever there's trips on board, your pocket pair, even if it's small, goes up in value dramatically The only real concern, of course, is the queen. But given this kind of action, Nguyen does not have to be concerned with that. Nguyen bet 250. Trying to get value from his full house.
Yeah, trying to get called by anything here, and he's going to get called.
Pair of eights is going to be the winner.
Does that look like a man who bluffs to you? All these players would be eliminated under your new talking tour, Remko.
Sorry?
I said all these players would be eliminated under your new talking tour.
Oh, yeah, the talking tour would definitely end all these stacks right now.
He asked if I thought he had much of an edge, and I told him I thought he was probably breaking even, to be honest. Yeah. He doesn't play tournaments, let alone PKOs.
King, king, queen, 3 for McEwan.
Maximum.
Maximum announced. Pot size raise. Looks like McEwan will not meet any resistance here.
Nope.
Earl Sulling, Donnie is asking, what's the significance of the PokerGo Player of the Year? Well, first off, it's the PGT Player of the Year, which is the PokerGo Tour. But, you know, in a way, it encapsulates who the best all-round performer throughout the year is in bigger buy-in tournaments.
Yeah, you're the biggest badass on the planet. It's plain and simple. You know, you showcased excellence from start to finish across the entire tour season. Competed against highly elite competition. It is not easy to go toe-to-toe with the players that compete on the PokerGo Tour at the PokerGo studio, so you are certainly the best of the best. So Earl, the PGT, the PokerGo Tour, is mostly tournaments here at the PokerGo studio, but there are some qualifying events that are not owned and operated by the PGT, but partner events, I'll say. There are 30 events at the WSOP that qualify for the PGT coming up in April in partnership with our friends down in Texas at Champions Club. We have the Texas Poker Open. You can see all the different events on pgt.com. Just hit the schedule tab or pgt.com/schedule. It's the closest thing that poker has to, let's say, the PGA or the FedEx Cup, you know, something like that. Kind of like a professional sports league, or at least as close to it as possible. We do recognize the player who accumulates the most points during the regular season and tops the leaderboard with not only PGT Player of the Year honors, but also a $50,000 bonus as we get back to the action here. But it's just a quick fold out of Bryce Yockey. And then everyone that qualifies in the top 40 of the leaderboard goes on to compete in the PGT $1 Million Championship. So A lot to play for here on the PokerGO Tour.
Chen makes it 750, ace, king, 9, deuce. Action folds to McEwan in the big blind. Not a lot of room to maneuver for most of these players, which makes the decisions a lot more black or white. Do I play for stacks or do I not? Just to summarize here, McEwan started the hand with 9 big blinds, Yockey 6, Riordan 10, Chen on 17, and then our front runner, Nguyen, on 38. McEwan does decide to get out of the way, and you know the game in a way sort of grinding to a halt because of these dynamics right now.
Yeah, I mean, Nguyen, aka Suited Superman, is well out in front, and he can really just drive the action. Chen's kind of stuck in the middle, not doing much, and then everyone else just has to basically not try and bust next and ladder up.
Well, if you want to look like Matthew McEwan or pull off some high-stakes poker, no gamble, no future, or PokerGo merch, check out shop.pokergo.com right now. The official merch store of PokerGo will take your game to the next level.
These final 5 players are guaranteed $49,200. Looking at about a $12,000 pay jump right now. Nice looking double suited King Queen 8-7 for Superman. Ooh, aces for Johnny Boy. Here we go.
10 seconds.
As expected, Riordan comes with the jam. I wonder if this is actually all in.
2.525.
Chen, let's go with queens.
2.525.
2.525 announced. That makes it so that Riordan has 20,000 left behind by the looks of it. Fully hiding in case Nguyen is a professional soul reader.
He is Superman.
He is Superman, yeah. Gotta respect that.
Can't imagine Nguyen is folding here. Yeah, does make the call.
Makes the call, and now with 2 chips left behind, Riordan in a terrific situation here to find himself a double up, and this would be the second double up that Nguyen could grant a player after Chen doubled through him just a little while ago. Let's see if that plays out as such. Deuce, 5, 6, all diamonds, and John Riordan has got 100% right here, right now. Nut flush will end this thing right here on the flop. John Riordan will double up to 5.7 million.
How am I going to lose this one?
I think it's possible.
Ausmus will find a way to win.
You're going to see the ace of diamonds on the river, and then you're going to be very upset.
Let's not deal it out.
We just have to redo the whole final table.
Let's just go by the odds right now.
Board runs
Red wheel card.
When's the last time you got all in with
6
100%?
deuce. And Riordan doubles up. Now, Donnie, dynamics changing dramatically. Nguyen no longer in that very comfortable spot. Other players, however, now with a better chance to win, even though if your name is Bryce Yockey or Matthew McEwan, you would have much rather have seen Nguyen extend his lead, bringing you down to 4 or maybe even 3-handed.
Yeah, Riordan and Chen both chipping up nicely, getting some big doubles through Nguyen. And, you know, Nguyen, much like we saw with Bryce Yockey earlier,
What are you guys doing during
is
break?
sliding.
Good hands.
Curse of the chip leader, maybe? You know, Bryce Yockey had a big lead and ended up becoming the short stack. Nguyen, I mean, he's not out of the chip lead yet, but he was up over 11 million at one point, and it's been a slide since. He's doubled up James Chen, he doubled up John Riordan. Let's see if he can stop the bleeding. Nguyen attacks that limp there of James Chen and gets it done.
Reminder again here to check out playpokergo.com. You can play free online poker right now at the touch of a button. Scan the QR code on your screen. It's available on web, iOS, and Android. So get in the mix and start playing right now for free, just to have some poker fun while you watch the stream. Back to the action here. Aces for McEwan. He's going to raise pot, wanting to commit all of his chips as quickly as he can. Raising off the 6 big blind stack. McEwan takes it down. Nobody wants any piece of that. Once again, thank you for tuning in. This is the final table of event 1 of the PGT PLO Series. Blinds now at 125, 250. And McEwan now picks up aces on back-to-back hands.
10 seconds.
Pot.
875.
Second hand, there McEwan goes for a pot size raise. Nguyen finds double suited king queen 10-8. He's going to give it some thought. Oh, here we go. Call is made, so still some chips left to play with, but the move for McEwan will be rather straightforward unless a absolute disaster flop presents itself. Bryce Yockey, Jack 9-7-7. Doesn't seem to me like a spot you want to get involved in. Even multi-way, you need a whole lot of help.
Time extension.
Yockey does get out of the way. And here we go. Important flop for McEwan's tournament life. An all-diamond flop would be the worst-case scenario for him, but instead we get ace-9-5, and he flops not only a set of aces, but also a spade draw, so perfect flop for him. McEwan decides to slow down here, given how strong his hand is, just hoping for a misstep from Nguyen.
I mean, he's just...
Oh my God.
Hello. Okay.
Quads.
I mean, the tricky part here for McEwan is it's just hard for Nguyen to have everything. Or anything, I should say. He's got two spades. He's obviously got the quad aces. It's kind of like too disconnected even for a straight draw to really be present there.
Yeah, if you're the one holding the strongest possible hand by such a margin, then you automatically make it a lot more difficult for your opponent to have something of value.
He might just want to check again. I don't know. I mean, I know you often want to bet your own hand, and
400.
he's going to go small.
Yeah, go small here. And Nguyen lets it go, and McEwan there winning back-to-back hands, now up to 3.8 million, and that's how quickly things can turn around. And Bryce Yockey, with a little bit of a side eye there, will not be happy to see all the shorter players around him winning chips off key Nguyen. Nguyen has now doubled Chen, Riordan, and lost this significant one to McEwan to further even out the playing field. Bryce Yockey, the only one left hanging, and he'll be trying to get a double up of his own in the very near future. Yockey down 4.5 million since the final table started. Unfortunate turn of events for him. King, King, Jack 5 for Chen. Little glance over at Yockey's stack.
10 seconds.
750.
750,000.
Thank you.
Is it 6 times now with aces for this guy?
Sixth time aces for
I mean, what in
Nguyen.
the world?
Might as well try to change his name to...
Like, literally 10% of the hands at this final table, he's had aces.
Should change his name to Suited Aces, man.
What the heck?
Bryce Yockey, again with nothing. Oh, he goes for it with the double suited ace-8-3 deuce. It's a little bit above my pay grade here, but of course Yockey is the shortest, and this will give him a chance to triple up. Perhaps that plays into it here. Chen now deciding for his tournament life with kings. The more I think about it, of course, the more Chen will be forced to fold. And Yockey taking advantage of the fact that Chen will be forced to fold, and this could be a very interesting hand for Yockey with the dead money involved.
I've been waiting all day for that hand.
Right now, it's not looking too good for him.
It is double suited.
Heart no good.
I just couldn't turn down the odds. There's just too much money out there.
There's a lot of money out there.
How many times have you heard someone justify with that? It's double suited. Oh
Here comes
my
the
God.
Queen, deuce, 4, 2 hearts.
Put the red 5 out there.
Bryce Yockey all of a sudden with a bunch of outs. 50-50 here.
Almost out of nowhere.
Turn card, the 4 of clubs.
Great.
That is removing some outs. 6 outs now. Hearts or the 5 of diamonds, or Bryce Yockey will be our 5th place finisher. River card is the Jack of Spades, and it doesn't come in for the man who started as chip leader. Bryce Yockey eliminated, takes home 49,200. Nguyen sends him to the rail, and Yockey will obviously not be happy about that one.
Yeah, a bit of an unfortunate result, all things considered. I know he did ultimately ladder up once, but when you come in with a large chip lead and you're able to stretch out that chip lead early on, I'm sure Yockey's going to be wondering to himself, you know, what could have been and why the heck did that just go wrong for me there?
You forgot what game we're playing. Waiting all day for that dust, dude.
There's a lot of money out there, you know?
Yeah.
There's
Look at the updated standings.
Basically triples up.
McEwan and Chen very much in the same ballpark. Riordan, as far as you can be, he is quite comfortable in second, and Nguyen holding on to his chip lead. With the blinds the way they are, this could be over in 3 hands.
Yeah.
So don't go anywhere. Keep on watching.
10 seconds.
How much do you have, James?
3 points.
Shout out Dika Costa, who just announced his retirement in the chat. One of our longtime regulars, friends of the show. Deke, congrats on retirement. Please send some money our way. Donnie and I are also looking to retire. How many more years, Donnie?
Yeah, I mean,
35?
It would probably involve like
a jackpot.
My daughter's years, her kids' years.
Yep.
A jackpot for sure.
Yeah, jackpot for sure.
Jackpot for sure. So what do you guys do when you're retired? Like, do you like play poker? Do you just...
You watch the PGT PLO series?
Yeah, I mean, but this isn't running 24/7.
No, but PokerGO is streaming almost 24/7.
That is true.
Riordan limping in with kings here. Chen comes along from the small blind, and now Nguyen with ace, king, jack, 8 in the big blinds. Are you surprised to see Riordan limp here, opening himself up to perhaps multi-way action?
Pop.
Oh, but instead, no multi-way action just yet. Nguyen makes it $1 million. Action now back on Riordan, and this might be exactly what he was waiting for, a chance to come back over the top.
10 seconds. Time extension.
Wow, and Riordan limp folds pocket kings.
Ron in the chat asking how many times Riordan can get king, and I'm sure Riordan there was thinking, how many times can this guy get aces?
I mean,
it's unbelievable.
I honestly would not give Nguyen credit for only aces there, so I'm a little bit surprised to see Riordan fold. Now, I'm also not a PLO specialist, so...
Well, a couple things. I mean, one, Riordan is best positioned to get to heads-up play, which is likely very much in the consideration while he's contemplating what to do there. Two, you know, the 9 deuce isn't really working with your hands, so you're kind of just playing those naked kings. I know he did have one suit, but still, you know, probably best to just get away from that one. Only committed the one big blind. And it's also one of those spots where, you know, even if you are ahead, you know, how much are you ahead equity-wise?
Right.
I mean, 56%. Like, you know, it's not like you're like 90% to go to a flop there and then win things, you know, after the flop. So it's just a tough spot. Riordan now finds a couple of queens in his hand, and once again, he's faced with some offense from Nguyen, who raises out of the small blind. This time, Riordan going to call. What does benefit him this time to be in position, of course. A little bit of a better hand, I guess, that works together. The 8 and the 5 a little bit closer connected. Still has hearts.
Nguyen's going to bet 450. Riordan with this overpair. Facing this bet in position. He's going to make the call. Ace hits on the turn, and it continues to be Nguyen's day here at this final table. Top pair, top kicker now. Nguyen asking for time.
Time extension.
$900 is the bet from Nguyen, and as much as he would like. Riordan cannot continue on this turn card.
That was the same flop you guys had last time, BBB. 7-5.
Yeah, similar, but that one have a flush draw, I think.
Blinds up announced by the tournament staff. I didn't know they could go up even more. Ace Queen 10-4. Action back on Nguyen.
10 seconds.
1050.
Cool.
All right, McEwan's going to call here out of the big blind. Win minute just over $1 million on the button. 2.55 million out there. 7-5-4 with a couple of spades. Flopped straight for McEwan with the 8-6 in his hand. Nguyen's got the nut flush draw. He did connect with that 4. So my guess is, given that McEwan's got 1.8 million behind, we're going to see this money get into the middle. And there it is, 1.825 all in, and the call from Suited Superman, and here we go.
You have a spade?
I do not.
Ace of hearts on the turn. McEwan's not got a heart draw to go along with his straight. 2 pair and a flush draw still for Nguyen. He's got 28% to get this down to 3-handed. Queen of clubs on the river. And McEwan scores the double up there. McEwan all on the flop for $1,825,000, and he's going to soar up over $6 million with that double. McEwan is still the chip leader with just under 7.6 million. Still 4-handed here, event number 1 of the PGT PLO Series. And we fight on. These 4 players have locked up $61,500. They're on a $20,000 pay jump right now.
Pot.
Queen 7-4 here. McEwan raised to 900K and Chen came along. Couple of hearts out there. McEwan's got the 10-9 of hearts in his hand.
Pot.
McEwan announces pot, which would put Chen all in if he calls here.
10 seconds. Time extension.
He does not. And McEwan is right there now with Nguyen, virtually tied for the chip lead. If you would like to take your game to the next level, head on over to octopipoker.ai. It is the home for the ultimate poker lab for everyone. Part of what Octopi Poker offers are the ability to drill real final table spots from PGT events. One of the unique features on the Octopi Poker platform. Again, that's octopipoker.ai. Can learn from that man that was on your screen right there, Stephen Chidwick. So McEwan has worked his way up to 7.4 million now. He's right there challenging with Nguyen for the chip lead. Chen's just going to give Nguyen a walk here, so Nguyen's going to keep that chip lead for now, albeit only about one big blind or so ahead of McEwan. Chen's still the short stack. Blinds are up to 150,000, 300,000, which means that Nguyen's working with 5 big blinds.
Seconds.
8866 for the nearly chip leader now. McEwan on 7-4. Tournament reaching a stage now where it's almost fit or fold for all these players. Stacks are just so shallow. And I'm looking at you guys specifically, James Chen and John Riordan. Salvador Ibarra asking in the chat, anyone going to WSOP? Well, you can bet the farm that Donnie and I will be there. But let us know in the chat if you have any Vegas plans, WSOP or otherwise. Don't think I'll be playing much this year. Got a baby on the way, but still can't wait to be out there in the biggest event series of the year.
10 seconds.
8864 enough for Chen to bid pot, and that leaves him with very little chips behind.
Well, Riordan here finds queen, queen, jack, jack.
He's triple checking this one.
Pot.
Raises pot over the top. Back on Chen, who has too much invested to get out of the way. And here we go. We got our next all-in showdown on our hands. It is Chen versus Riordan with Chen's tournament life on the line. 8864 versus queens and jacks.
You have hearts?
No.
Tough one here for Chen, facing two overpairs. 7-9 king. It could be worse.
Spicy.
Could definitely be worse.
Yeah, 10 again.
Give him a 10 actually.
Don't let me make a straight and still lose.
Chen looking for an 8 or a 5. Here comes the turn card. It's the ace of spades. Doesn't change a thing. Still 5 outs. River card incoming. 3.6 million in the middle is James Chen, going to be our 4th place finisher. And it's the 8 of spades on the river, and Chen hits his set and escapes just narrowly. Wow.
I mean, it's hard to just eliminate anyone at this final table. It's been quite unbelievable. I know we've lost 2 players on the day, but it's, you know, 2 players in 3 hours, over 3 hours now. This has been a grind.
I mean, good timing on the Play PokerGo ad, you know. If you want to try and not bust, head on over there. Play for free. Play on playpokergo.com, available on web, iOS, and Android. Scan the QR code on your screen or just head on over to the website. Great way to play while you're watching the stream. And if you're like me, you know, with severe ADD, who's always multitasking in some capacity, then this might be the distraction that you're looking for. Shout out Jimmy Bluffett joining us in the chat.
Oh, it's about time,
Yeah,
Jimmy.
it's running late today, I guess.
It's about time.
Playing golf. No. Action on Nguyen.
I'll say Jimmy was mowing the lawn.
Win. Jack 9-8-7. He's going to raise it up. All eyes now on Riordan, who is the shortest stack. Once again, if you're enjoying the stream, please don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel if you're new around here. Donnie and I will be on the call for more PLO action in the coming days. We've got some cash games coming up as well, so please join us for all of that. PGT PLO Series also has a leaderboard attached to it. I believe a PGT Passport for the overall champ. $10,000 worth of PGT buy-ins await the eventual champion.
Yeah, that winner will join Lataro Guerra, who showed up today.
Yep.
He won the first ever PGT PLO Series, and it was Daniel Jing, Samuel Sipola, and Matthew Wantman.
9.
900.
From the small blind, Chen hoping to see a flop, but Nguyen finds a pair of queens. He's going to pop it up.
10 seconds.
That'll do it. Still lots of Suited Superman fans in the chat. I also put a poll in there, and 50% of the people think that he is going to take this one down.
Could be tougher now with the rise of Matthew McEwan.
Pot size raised announced. And he takes it down.
Seconds.
Ten, 8, 7, 5. Enough for Chen to get involved. Riordan just waiting for a spot, down to 3 big blinds.
$1,050,000.
And aces again for Nguyen. That's the 7th time he's found aces at this final table. We've only played 81 hands, and this is the 7th time he found aces. If he doesn't win this thing, then I don't know what's wrong with the universe.
I mean, it's outrageous how many times he's had aces. It really is.
Seven aces or something?
There it is.
Sometimes the poker gods just say, hey, man, it's your day.
And yet still,
Go shine bright.
He could be out in 4th.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, it's a swingy game.
$1 million.
There goes Riordan.
Discount. Discount.
King 994, the hand Riordan was forced to go with, and Chen thought about it but lets it go. Queen Jack 4 deuce. Not too inspiring for win, but it's also not that expensive.
This one's pretty bad. But
it's pretty bad, but he's still going to go for it.
Played it all day because dust like Bryce.
All right, John Riordan all in at risk and
Thinking about
ahead.
PLO, it's like pretty bad hand. It's just like King Jack's just so live.
I put a king out.
9-10 king. Flop. 9-10 king for sweat.
9-10 king.
With the way Nguyen's been running,
Put some clubs.
he's almost guaranteed a sweat. 5-4-3. That's pretty nice if you're holding deuce 4. Nguyen with 12 outs just sends Riordan to the rail. Still roughly 50-50 here. Turn is the king of spades. And Nguyen now down to 7 outs. An ace or a 6, or else Riordan will double up.
The prepay.
River card
Ooh.
is the ace. And John Riordan is our 4th place finisher. He'll collect $61,500 for his efforts. And Nguyen extends his chip lead as we head into 3-handed play. 11.1 million now for him, facing Matthew McEwan and James Chen, as the final 3 are guaranteed $82,000. It's Nguyen's tournament to lose. Let's see if he can close it out, but the stacks are shallow, so anything can still happen. 37 big blinds for the chip leader, 22 for second, and 9 for third. We are closing in on crowning a champion here in event number 1 of the 2025 PGT PLO Series, but it is still undecided, and Bryce Yockey will have something to say about how much a chip lead guarantees, which is very little, as he started out as a chip leader and now has been on the rail for quite some time.
Yeah, probably like 450 or something. You could also reg too, yeah.
Right.
I mean, PK, maybe
It's not a great
the best,
one to do that, but
if you, I mean, like, you have an incentive to, because if you win, you're the leaderboard, right? You're in first place. So,
right.
I don't know. Is there a bonus for the series if you win?
I think something.
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, like 10K or something, 25.
25K, I think.
10 seconds.
Maybe not that much.
Chen limping on the button. Very similar hand to Nguyen.
Check.
Three-way action here between the final 3 players. King 9-4, Rainbow. McEwan best here after pairing his king. Might want to try and just thin the field here right away. Too much can happen in pot limit Omaha to ever be comfortable.
Of course.
Chen out of the way. Action now on Nguyen.
Fold. Is this a break? That's why we don't do the drawing? Or?
No, it's not because we have a 3 pair left. So it's a 4 minutes.
Oh, I see. 4 minutes. Okay. I thought we changed protocol. I never got this far, so.
It's a short break to color up.
Oh, this.
After this level?
Yes, it's a short break for the cloud.
Simple way to avoid the break is for Nguyen to just end it. Anything is possible. He's going to continue to apply that pressure. At this point, McEwan perhaps a bit handcuffed due to the presence of Chen on the short stack.
10 seconds.
Queen 9-8-4 for Chen, double suited.
Call.
And he's going to make the call, hoping to flop something that he can go with. He'll be first to act on the flop. Don't be surprised if he just puts it in here if the flop is somewhat favorable to him. Ace-King 4 shown here, which, you know, does give him 2 backdoor draws, but not a whole lot to be excited about. Chen checks. Donnie, usually this is a check of surrender, having missed.
Yeah, I guess we're going to get a fold because, I mean, I know he still has 33%, but this cannot look good at all to you. And Chen goes shorter.
It's not a break, right? It's just a color up.
It's just a color up.
Walk there for win.
Want to play online poker for free? With PlayPokerGo, you get the thrill of authentic poker anytime, anywhere. From quick casual games to action-packed tournaments, PlayPokerGo lets you compete against real players around the globe, all for free. No bots, no gimmicks, just pure poker fun. Hone your skills and enjoy the poker experience you love. Explore PlayPokerGo on web, iOS, and Android. Deal yourself in now.
Back inside the studio here, still three-handed. Nine, 7, 5, 4. And Chen is going to move all in here. Queen, Jack, 10, 4 for win, double suited.
And given how short he is, yeah, he's going to come with it here.
He's going to pot over the top. And King, King, 9, 3 here for McEwan. Interesting situation. If you're McEwan, are you just happy to let Chen potentially bust out and then sort of reevaluate once we get the heads-up play?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, what are they? What's $36,000 pay jump right there? You get to go into heads-up play. Now, if that 3 was somewhat a little bit more connected there, like if it's a 10 or something, I don't know, maybe I call it off then, you know, with a little bit more connectivity overall. But this, I just kind of take that approach that we saw from Riordan a while ago when he was still in, where I think it was the king-9 deuce.
Well, McEwan really thinking about this one. And he moves all in.
Oh.
It's a 3.1, so I'm on.
Wow. And Nguyen calls it off right away. There it is. All right, 3-way all in for all the marbles. This will be the second time in PGT history that we see a tournament end on a 3-way all in. But as it stands, McEwan a slight favorite here to win this one with 39% versus 32 and 29.
I don't even know what to do.
I mean, holy cow. What just happened?
This is the most even 3-way all-in I've ever seen.
I mean, if you're Chen, you're kind of loving it, right? You're like, I got 30%, 3 ways, triple up, let's go.
Wow.
How crazy is this?
All right, so if Nguyen wins this, it is all over. Preparing for a massive 3-way showdown. The flop brings 10, 9, 8, and Nguyen flops the nuts. 90% favorite here to end the tournament right here on the spot. What is happening?
It really has been his day. It just has been.
The suited Superman on the brink of ending this tournament in the most dramatic fashion, and he's got both players drawing dead on the turn. I have never seen anything like this. It was literally meant to be here today as Nguyen found aces 7 times at this final table in just 86 hands, and he ends up closing it out
3-way all in,
with a 3-way all-in. This is unbelievable stuff. What a way to start the 2025 PGT PLO Series, as James Chen is our 3rd place finisher, takes home 82,000. Matthew McEwan finishes in 2nd for 118,900. And Nguyen is our champion, winning $180,400. And there you have it.
Nice job.
The final results on your screen. What an insane way to end the tournament. I cannot believe what we just witnessed. As long as it took to go from 6 down to 5, as quickly we've gone from 4 down to a winner. Quick look inside the room here as the 5K progressive knockout is underway. Patrick Leonard with a monster stack in the front of your screen there. He might be at tomorrow's final table. That's going to start at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific time. And there you have it, the upcoming streaming schedule of the PGT PLO Series. My name is Rinkema. Donnie Peters alongside me for coverage of this entire series. Thank you all so much for watching. We'll see you tomorrow for continued coverage of the PGT PLO Series.